fade. So I think that's at least possible. It's not front of the mind at all, but you can't ignore that on the daily.
All right, just wanted to, we talked a little bit about Boeing there. And all right, so right here, the Valley Palms, a couple, thank you so much for the super chats. We'll drop those down there. 2 today. All right, so RGC. So the thing about this is first of all, I can't believe you're still holding this. Congratulations that you're there from $10. I mean, what a name RGC has been right there. Again, after reporting good results on October the 28th, we've just been getting some nice upsides there. But RGC, what I'm seeing right here, just according to what we're doing, is again a relatively new name coming through. It's the short flow. It's the shares outstanding, which is only 13 million. Where did I see it? Anyways, it's on here somewhere. Shares outstanding only 13 million. The short flow doesn't seem right, only 0.16. But again, this name just keeps on going. There it is, 13 million. Shares outstanding. So this name just continues to go. Only 2 million in cash, only 8 million in total assets. So I don't, again, when these sort of bioscience names start to go like this and you're still, exceeding another move up, on down halts, remember, like these are just sort of functions of the market, right? So it's like market mechanics. Like if I was still long $10, I wouldn't be because I'd probably be out. But, looking at $60 as maybe your stop. I don't really know what to say, Valley. Like when you're in this name and it's ripping like this and you're up another 20% and it kind of looks like this, at any moment, any of these bids could be gone and then you're out of there. So I would say, look to take something off today and then, the best advice I have about runners like this, and this is kind of what we did with Palantir a hell of a long time ago, is that you just play with house money. So you take some money out when you're up 6 or 7 times, because then, if you put in 10 grand at $10, right now it's worth 70 grand. So if you just take your 10 grand out right now, then you've still got, the majority of your position. You'd only be taking out 16%, right? 1/6 of your position, and then holding the rest. So I don't know if you're still in or not, but to me, on a story that I don't know that much about, unless this is some sort of a cure-all drug or something like that, or whatever they're working on, I would stay away and take out whatever is in your pocket now. And then that way, if the market, or take out double, like, you've got in 10 grand, take out 20 grand and then hold 40 in there. Like, I don't know. I just think it's buy yourself a nice sweater or something and watch out for that. So that would be what I would do.
You can buy like a
buy a polo. All right. So what's going on right now? We didn't get to talk about Rigetti a little bit. So with only 4 minutes to go, we still have a little bit of time. We don't need to panic too much. I have Rigetti down here at 9. If Rigetti comes down into this level, it's something I like. That would be the low or the high, of Fridays. So if we get back into some support levels, that's good. Rigetti was actually a pretty good trade, right? Holding off 850 and then eventually bumping at the end of the day. So if there's any love for quantum today, and we do get a pullback, that would be a level. We may just have to break the top on a name like Rigetti if you really did like it. So we actually have to go back a little bit further. And that was right here. I was just thinking about $10. Like that, again, move down, no surprise. Whenever it's like, oh, this week is a big quantum week, expect something like this to happen. And then as everything settles down and we can get back to regularly scheduled programming, I think this continues to work a little bit higher. So Rigetti, QBTS, IonQ, they're all kind of the same for me, but I was just going to choose Rigetti a little bit there. Already 2 million shares. And there's not much on here. I know my guy over here, Joe, likes TSLL. I'll just trade the big boy, but it's on there as a buy. So we'll see if that has anything to do with Tesla stock.
No love for QBTS?
Yeah, no, I have.
What's interesting?
I like all the quantum names.
Well, what's interesting specifically about QBTS, it's always on the locator. The other ones don't seem to be there, but for whatever reason, there is always some kind of a.
Yeah, what's the volume on this one? It's only 2.5 million.
But it's the thing; it doesn't do more volume than Rigetti. There's just always an imbalance that you've got to at least factor in. Look, QBTS, I have this one up. And it's just mostly because you had a $9 high. But you can pick any of these. IonQ, I would wager to say that for day traders, Rigetti and QBTS tend to be the best, just in terms of volume and the types of moves they have. But I don't know if you get the support at $8. It has to drop way too far, I think, to get you to the Friday support levels. All that said, if you can break out these highs, it's like a $9 move. I think you have a lot of gap to be filled. Like NVIDIA, I want to see it hold the open and not give up the notion of a dip buy early. Because if it does do that, like fill in the gap kind of pull, then you have plenty on the way back in that you can fade with. And look, if it gets to like something crazy, like $11 is obvious. If we do a 20%, 30% kind of day, I'm looking to fade up at that top. But yeah, QBTS looks strong. It does have that buy imbalance. We mentioned a few other strong names in there. Whoops, I do this all the time. How many times have I typed in like New York for a NASDAQ stock? Palantir up 2.5 points today, looking at 91. It's just where it closed on Friday. It had that run up at the end of the day, but the thing that Palantir has going for it is its multi-level resistance 90 to 91. You just go all the way back on this 15-minute chart. You can see it, or maybe pull it up on the daily. Like this regained the 50 period, and from that initial March bounce, you've got some levels in here. You've got the 90, 91, 94, which is more of a breakout. So I'm looking dip buy into 91 on Palantir. Similar setup to Tesla, really, and that 250 to 252 area. So it's going to be a wild Monday. There's a sea of green, just like there was this weekend when Michigan State and
Did they win last night? I was watching.
Oh, you better believe they won. Yeah. And the #1 dunker in the entire NCAA, Cohen Carr, having another good game. But I'm a Michigan State guy, so I just love that team. Let's ring that bell, Adara, because it's a Monday. The market is up, and it's brought to you by WorkSport, WKSP on the NASDAQ. Shout out to WorkSport. Let's ring it in 2 and 1. Wow. Okay, see, the mallet got a little bit nervous there. It's falling apart all over itself.
Oh, was it? I missed that.
It literally fell apart before she even rang the bell.
All right,
well. Sometimes it happens. So we'll see if we get that.
All right, so let's go.
Palantir's starting to come down. Maybe we
Is it okay? Yeah, I was going to say the NASDAQ is falling down a little bit. So let's look at some names that we don't mind looking at here today, and that's going to be NVIDIA. So again, a lot of bad wicks to the downside. Oh, that sucks. Shoot. All right, so we'll wait, man. 119 is the 200 period. We'll wait to see if there's anything going on right there as we dance around two bills. AMD 110, nice move upside today as well. Fading back just a little bit here for AMD. Tesla was going to be on our mind, man. We said that we'd have to trade this one. There it is, coming right back in right now, real quick, man, into 256 goes Tesla. Let's be patient and wait for 252, but you are bouncing off the 200 period moving average. That's not a horrible level at all for Tesla. Our Amazon, a name that's going to be the #1 name on our watch list today, on my sticky note, not on the watch list today, but there goes Amazon. Look at that, man, the #1 long, and the only thing that basically didn't dip at all right there, but there it goes, breaking through 200, and now it's gone. Bye-bye Amazon. I mean, the one name, we wanted Amazon and we wanted Meta off the bottom. Didn't really get either one. We bought some S&P, but
Tesla.
There it goes right now. Tesla's finally going through 260. Yeah, so there it is, man.
Great.
Look at that. We just talked about that. So some of these dip buy opportunities today, yeah, man, seem to be pretty good off the open.
IBIT didn't dip at all. So I was looking over to see if we get continuation in Bitcoin and completely sideways on IBIT, but Tesla, yeah, looks like it managed to hold that pre-market low. Let's see if it can continue to do that. I didn't want to go over to SMCI because that was the only thing I was like, yeah, I want to be short SMCI on pops. It's down 4%. Ooh, missing some data there, but SMCI breaking through the lows on a downgrade. So I might have to look for VWAP. I'll have to throw that up on another chart to make sure we have VWAP right. But if we can get a bounce, maybe pre-market lows or VWAP to try to jump in on SMCI. Apple also relatively low, or weak, I should say, as Apple breaks down. You know what? I had Apple written down for 223, 224 to short pops because it never broke through that March 10th initial bounce area, but it's breaking lows. So again, there's just didn't get dip buys in the stocks we wanted long and didn't get the pop to fade the ones that we want short. It's kind of one of those types of mornings. Going to have to play it a little bit patient. QBTS is flat out not moving. It gets barely going anywhere. It's holding, but I'm sitting here and I'm actually not even seeing a bunch of prints on it. So D-Wave, very light volume so far. We're going to have to look to get into Tesla. It's now broken 260.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, this is a good oh boy moment here. 199, 199.79 or so here for our trade in Amazon. So I just want to say, look at Mara. Mara right here. We're in it. First of all, the first position for me right now is going to be Amazon. We're in it. But look at Mara right there, man. Nice little bounce to the upside, 320. So there goes Mara, nicely cooking today with NASDAQ going back upside, and of course, right down here, Bitcoin 87.6 and ripping right now a lot higher. So I'm in. This is 201. We might as well get something out at 201 if we do get up here for Amazon. I'm just going to see a about it supporting. We're going to go to Adair in a second. I'm just going to see about this supporting 200. If we break 200, that's sort of the pre-market low for right now is what I'm going to be looking at, basically the open low. So if we break Amazon 2 bills, we're out of that one. I know Neil was in SMCI.
Oh, that was a keystroke error.
Okay,
hit
fine.
the wrong stock. I punched out.
Okay, good. So out of that, just want to talk about it before we went to Adara. So right now, only Amazon long, and Adara's got something for us.
And OKLO, Oklo actually reporting earnings after the bell today. They have about a 14% short float, and this morning announcing that they've engaged here with the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission with regards to a pre-application readiness assessment. So Oklo here trying to get, I guess, some nuclear regulatory approval for its combined license application for one of its facilities, guys. OKLO earnings tonight. Back to you.
Oh, that's going to be a good one. That's the Sam Altman nuclear play. But look, I keystroked into SMCI and thankfully was able to get a bunch of it right away. I went to offer another stock and offered this one and double offered, was able to punch out. SMCI want to be waiting for highs. That was the plan of action, which is 42.5. Tesla is giving us no entry. At this point, it looked like it was about to, I mean, it did kind of dip in here into 260. No, where am I sitting? What do we get? Oh, I'm at 33. Didn't get filled down there. It did dip after failing through 261. So we'll wait to see if we can get back in. It's just a stair step to the upside type of trade. 60, the pre-market highs. 59, VWAP also going to be in play. Palantir is pulling back, oddly enough.
Yep.
So this might actually give a dip buy into some of those prior lows. So Palantir definitely on watch as it gets down to 91 is the first look. It's at 92 right now. So we actually might get a dip buy here into Palantir. Looking for mean revert. The market is sliding a little bit lower here. Like, it's not like we're pulling back heavy. You're above VWAP on the NASDAQ, so you're still in that nice little trend up. But do not want to be buying any highs when this is happening. And want to make sure anything that's relatively weak, we're patiently waiting for our price levels. So Palantir probably needs to get at least to 92, if not lower. And I want 260s if I can on Tesla.
All right, we're taking whatever. We took 30 cents right there. We got out at 87s on Amazon. We're going to try to wait, like we said, to see if we do get a little bit of a pop in Amazon. It's already been up here, so we would have liked to have bought more down there. I was waiting for a little bit lower. I was actually waiting at $200.15. Lowest it gets to is 19. That's fine. As right now, you're just dancing around. So a couple ins, a couple outs right there for Amazon. We'll start to stack up a little bit for now, but we think there's more to come here, especially if this NASDAQ does eventually get going. I like this name. The other name there, we were looking at Mara. Mara's gone. It's 87.3 while Mara's already gone. We'll have to wait for a little bit of a pullback. I'm just trying to focus on some of these names that we had written down here. Amazon, Tesla, Rigetti, Mara, NVIDIA. So here comes NVIDIA pulling back in quite nice. The 200 period right here could be traded for sure down to 119.50. So we'll have a strong look at that if and when that comes through. But for me, for NVIDIA, still waiting, honestly, for a little bit lower to see if there's any play there. TQs are coming right into VWAP. So that could have been bought as well right there. The 200 period coming into play, but it's the NASDAQ really that I'm looking at. So that was a nice move right back into 20,200. Let's see if that continues to hold. It looks like we should have dip bought Tesla because that's now taking, wow, 263. So there goes Tesla. Basically no red candles at all. So it's like when I'm talking about dip buying, you would have just been able to dip buy for 1 minute and then it closed higher the very next minute. Every single candle here since open, despite the very first candle, has been green. So Tesla continuing to go. Look, man, I said we're not even looking short on Tesla. So mission accomplished on that one as that just keeps on going. Come on, Amazon. Honestly, like this is the one that's going to make my day already. We've already talked about that. We're looking for this one to break a little bit higher and then an average into 200. Palantir always looked at, but again, like, how far can we go? I think we can get a lot lower than where we are right now. I mean, I was actually looking at $90 down here for Palantir today. Not that that's going to hit, but like 91 is where we closed. So I was kind of just looking at some of these tops to say if disaster did strike in the name, where could we get long? So it's only 938. Pretty comfortable here holding this 30 pennies now for us on Amazon. But other than that, just trying to look around, man, to see if there's anything. Micron.
I got to guess quantum names are, well, if you're looking at Rigetti, it's got to be going. QBTS is now 10% to the upside and looking to join this one. There we go. Looking to join this on any kind of a dip. It did hold above Friday's highs. Wanted to make sure it cleared that out, but now that it's above, look to fill the gap into at least $10. Palantir, I thought we'd get down to 91 the way that it was relatively weak. It just does not seem to be happening. And Tesla, yet to find any dips on Tesla. It's only been the rip to the upside. So QBTS, at least it's close enough to $9 to potentially get an entry in here. Let's go to Adair.
Keep an eye here on MLGO. This is a frequent repeated small cap runner this morning here announcing the pricing here of a share offering about 8 cents per share for the total amount of $20 million. Right now, nice push to the upside, 80% short float, and we do have about a 4.5 million share float for MLGO. Just a reminder, in about 5 minutes, we're going to be getting some S&P PMI data. I will be giving that to you guys. Back to you.
All right. I mean, we're already all over this stock already. I mean, we're going to have the big one right now for myself anyways here with our friend and your friend and maybe all of our friends at this point, Amazon. What a great stock that is. It's your chicken dinner winner. Now $1 in the money right there. The thing is, man, it's just one trade for me today. It's that simple. Find the best trades, have confidence, get the hell in them, and go. And there it goes, man. 3 ins, now $1 in the money. That's just what we're doing right there with Amazon as it continues to climb higher and higher. So that's going to be a good trade for sure. Let's just let this keep going, man. I mean, I don't have any reason right now to get out of Amazon. So it's at day's high. It's been a huge move. It is $1 in the money. There goes Amazon, your number one traded name today, your number one name off the P&L for me there. Only one stock we've been in, man. It's going to be Amazon, and we're pretty happy with its performance there. Again, NVIDIA I looked at. Mara, we talked a little bit about that one as well. Gone, right? There was the pullback into VWAP. We should have looked at that a couple minutes ago. Unfortunately, we were too busy looking at Amazon, which we shouldn't have been, because it's just working for us. We don't need to do too much with that. Micron, again, earnings name from last week. Didn't perform well last week, right? But nice little bounce up, and there you go today, up 3%. Micron, nice move there. Again, earnings 110 falls back in there on Thursday, Friday. Now you're trying to go back up through the 50 period. Micron trying to go right now as well. I don't want to just rest on this trade because the futures have just gone top to bottom again. So, or sorry, I guess bottom to top, and as well as top to bottom. So could have a little bit of a pullback, hence why we do have a couple outs up here on Amazon. You know, taking it out, still relatively early days now in the market, so let's wait to see if this does give us any pullbacks. I thought Disney Tesla's trying to pull back or trying to go. Okay, well, we'll look at Tesla there. Right now. I don't know if you've been in anything other than SPCE.
Not yet.
But Disney with a good Snow White.
I thought it was bad.
No, it was number one in the box office.
But I said it was still disappointing.
Oh, was it? I don't know. Number one there. But anyways, up 0.4. I just want to look at it because we were around $100 for Disney. But here we go, man. Like I said, the big trade alert here today, with Neil hasn't really been in anything, is Amazon. So yeah, one trade today for the two of us, and it's 940. So interesting.
Yeah, I mean, wow, Palantir is going to break out. All right, I guess we'll switch gears. No, Tesla is pulling back. I'm looking for VWAP as usual and then pre-market highs. You didn't really get any gap to be filled, but Palantir, it just didn't go deep enough. We wanted it starting at 91. Not going to happen. 94 is also a level on Palantir. Hopefully on a 15 you'll be able to see. I guess I can't really, you can kind of, 94 is resistance on Palantir. Probably have to use a 30-minute chart for you to see. On the daily chart, it's obvious. I'd rather not take a breakout trade and be able to join this somewhere off of VWAP or the prior low. That's going to be the plan of action. Apple I still have for relative weakness. So I'm not touching this one to the long side. I just heard you say Apple. It's Tesla that's starting to come back in here, and this could be our first chance at VWAP on Tesla 260. The other one is D-Wave at $9. I'm sitting at 06. I do believe on D-Wave. I might consider nibbling in if it starts bouncing off 10s or something just to get something involved in front of the $9 level in case it doesn't actually get all the way to $9. And I might think the same thing with Tesla. If it starts holding 60.5 to 61, I'd work in at that price as well. So the market still not doing a heck of a lot in terms of breaking out. And as I said, QBTS might just happen to get here before Tesla on this dip buy. So I'm going to look for it to hold VWAP, nibble in front of 910 first, and then see what happens at the 9 even area after that. Going to make the assumption Rigetti is looking pretty strong as well, but this is the one I wanted.
Yeah, 64, 70, 60. I was just looking at the TQs because we are getting a little bit of a drop down right now. I was looking at this 60, basically, again, we have some of these bad wicks, but I was thinking about the bottom there against this 200 period of 64.50. So I'm going to put some bids down there just in case, because we do have some PMI numbers coming. We could get a little bit of a flash. So we'll wait to see with a stop at 64, 48 or something, or 64.48, right, there for the TQ. So I'm going to put a bid right into here, 64.80s. If we can get that, then we'll watch out for 64.50 and try to average into that one if we need to, right there for the TQQs. So we'll wait to see if there is going to be anything on that in case we do get a dip buy coming through. We do have that number coming out at 9:45, just looking to see what that is. Again, it's, S&P manufacturing PMI for March. So we'll have a quick look at that, expected 51.8. So if that does come in, obviously Adara will be having that in just less than 1 minute. So we'll watch out for that if it does come in. Yep, we do also have Amazon pulling back in a little bit as well. So a couple outs up top. We still have more than half of this Amazon position, but around that level. All right, Adara, 30 seconds.
Before we get to the numbers, I also want to mention here, keep an eye on Doximity, DOCS. This one getting hit with a short report. Not a lot of move on that, but keep an eye on DOCS. We will be getting here in just about 17 seconds. S&P Services PMI, Manufacturing PMI, and Composite PMI for the month of March. Services PMI expected to come in exactly in line with the previous print. Manufacturing PMI, we're expecting a little bit lower. And same with S&P Composite PMI. So let's see what happens here. The more closely watched numbers are going to be services and manufacturing. Services here coming in above expectations, 54.3 versus 51 expected. S&P Manufacturing PMI, 49.8 versus 51.8 expected, so lower than expectations. And S&P Composite PMI, well above expectations here, 53.5 versus 51.3. So just to recap, services and composite here above estimates, manufacturing PMI below estimates. And here is, this is Doximity. We'll take a look here at the market, which is pushing a little bit lower here, a bit of a double top here, getting slightly, I guess, above our pre-market high, but trying, I guess, as of right now, still making some higher lows here for the Qs. This is our really only major economic data print of the day, that we do have some Fed speak later in the afternoon, guys. Back to you.
Yeah, the Bs are out. Bostic and Barr later on in the session. We will definitely see them. That whatever happened just there, a little bit of a spike at the highs or through the highs and then right back in. Well, Tesla did not give us that entry. We were headed back down to VWAP or maybe 261, and you just broke out the top on Tesla. And we still don't want to chase this move. QBTS, we didn't get any fills. When that crazy wick happened, we didn't get any fills on the bid in front of VWAP. Did get one out in front of 220 or 927 into 30s. Still going to buy the dip into VWAP, only need one bid, not two. And so we'll reload QBTS if we can get it. Palantir failed its breakout, but is still looking okay. Like, it went down underneath 94 on that PMI number and is still actually holding above it. So there's still a chance that this might be a clean close above 94 and continuation play, but the plan was to dip by Palantir, so it's still going to be VWAP or those lows. Has to hold above 94 to join this high. Otherwise, dip buys in QBTS. Tesla, got to form a different plan. It's headed to 265. And Apple, yikes. Apple's still holding lower highs. This one looks a little bit weak to me. Not going to short it just yet. Going to focus on Tesla and QBTS, as those have been it's trending to the upside clean. Yeah,
we're 2 for 2 right now as we got NVIDIA at that low as well. So there we go, man. 120 long on NVIDIA right now. So we'll go not bearish, man. We're going bullish right now as we go long. The dollar comes right back in, man. The cat came back the very next day. So did the dollar right there for Amazon. So we stick with our strength right now, and that is going to be AMZN right now. Number one today for myself, Amazon, as we look at that. And then there we go again, Neil. Look at this, man. We start the different weeks, same stuff. Right now, that's 50 cents right there. 2 for 2, man. We're in the money, $1.50 right now on these two positions. So I know it's a little light over there, but we've got some big wins over here right now. And let's just wait to see what can wind up happening. There goes Amazon and there goes NVIDIA right there back up to the upside. We do not get that dip buy opportunity at all for us in the NASDAQ, but okay. We went there, we go strength, man, and we take NVIDIA and Amazon. NVIDIA just right back into the day's high, so let's wait to see. This one could definitely fall out. I was getting my stop order set for 119.50, so it was about 50 cents worth of risk. We just took that 50 cents, so 1-to-1 there early, but we're not really looking at ratios right now because of this market. We're happy just sort of, there we go, we'll take another 25 out. We're just happy kind of scalping in and out right now because we've already got the big dog on board. And I don't know, man, a lot of you last week saw sort of the trades that we had out, that I've had on, and then here it is again right now. It is your number one trade right there, and it's going long on Amazon. So there it is right there, Amazon long. We have the Tesla long, we have the Rigetti long, so Nielsen QBTS, Mara, and then there's NVIDIA. So we are on 2 of our 5 names right now and really starting to go. But look at NVIDIA pulling back. This is the one where I want to be here in case it goes. It's still stronger than the market, but it is not like the rest, man. It is pulling back in right now into days. I mean, days low, we're still a little ways away. We do want to average into that, but yeah, coming back in right now is NVIDIA. So yeah, let's be careful. We still got Amazon. Amazon's the big dog, but we are going to average into NVIDIA down to 119.50. So if we get an opportunity to do that, we're going to do that. I'm actually bidding 70s. It just went down into 80s there for NVIDIA.
Yeah, NVIDIA, I'm a little surprised when you said that. And we're going to get to Intel in a quick little second. Palantir broke well away from 94, still trading to the upside. We just, for the first time, got a reload in D-Wave here, as it's making some higher lows with a little bit of resistance in the 935 range. So scalp the range. I'm going to already offer up top here at 960, and you'll see why. Go to last week. It's different from a lot of stocks because I'm eyeballing the floor from last week, this 960 or for most of the week, as the out. So it's a bit of a gap down underneath. It was that quantum event, and it dipped off the quantum event. So that 960 level going to be the out for me for profit taking. Hopefully we can, you know what? You don't always want stocks to come down. I'm not saying I want Palantir to go down. Anyone that's long, congratulations. But we'd still like there to be a red candle because there still hasn't been one off of these highs. The stock just going and going and going. So I don't mind getting into this. It's got to be 94, at least for now. And oddly enough, not to pick on Intel, but we always talked about stocks that are breaking away from Friday's highs and resistance. Intel isn't. And so if it's not breaking out and the market is, then it's relatively weak. When I look at these highs, 24.75, 24.8, I don't know about that wick at 25. I think you work off of these levels first. If this market shows any kind of weakness, then Intel, for me, is the curl. Just want to wait to see for that to materialize here. Yeah, not going to be dip buying this stock. The second Sean said NVIDIA wasn't going as much as he liked, I went over to see if Intel was still short. And it looks like a short to me. Failed break of the high early and making lower highs as we speak. We'll let it show us the top of the range again and then look to get involved on that. So reload on QBTS in front of 9. Going to dip buy in front of 94 on Palantir. And Tesla now at 267. Maybe it is going to get to $280.
Probably, yeah. That short was crazy if anyone took that. Right there, Amazon, right now $1.50 in the money. So again, like completely in the comfort zone right now, ringing the register, man. We'll be carrying those money bag yos out of here because there it goes. It's a good one. We continue to be long on that. So yeah, man. Good days. Bad days here for our friend though, which of course is NVIDIA just hovering. So we got another piece out right there, 120.30 in the last 3 minutes. Let's see if we're able to get one more piece out as well down here for NVIDIA. And we will average in. We don't want to like completely fall down here. Let's wait for like let's go to 119. Like 65, and then we'll wait to see if it holds that 50 area. If it doesn't, fine, we can get away from it. But I'm going to sit there and see if we can average back into the 200 period and let it go. But oh boy, there it goes again, man. Not making me feel one ways about getting all these Amazon packages right now. Because thanks for the free year of Prime right there, Amazon. Because you are still motoring back up to the upside. Now, Randy, $1.70 in the money as the number one trade idea. Obviously, as QBTS I know is moving moving around, but this one's a big one here for Amazon, starting to go upside now. AMZN, man. You know, when we've got a good trade on, this is going to be a good one. So there it is, man. We made our day on Amazon, 1 for 1 there, and then we'll hold out to see if NVIDIA wants to do anything. Already out for 1-to-1 risk, looking to get a little bit more in, but Amazon is the key, and NVIDIA is not, man. We got to figure this one out because NVIDIA is coming in quite nice, and there it is. Our last hurrah for NVIDIA, just getting long right now against 119.50. Let's see if it holds. That's it, man. NVIDIA's in. Let's see what winds up happening. We're long right now at 68.
Yeah, as NVIDIA comes in, I'm now offering VWAP on Intel. If the chips are,
oh boy,
some of the chips are going to be weak, then I want to play off that. Tesla is now way too far. It's just so far gone up here at 267. You can pretty much stick a fork in it. Palantir, I don't think has gone too far because Palantir just want to give it a little bit more juice. I think 95 still gives you a chance. I'm still sitting at 94, oddly enough.
Oh boy, Neil.
Because this one just cannot continue to go. QBTS, we've already taken one profit zone. We're going to hang on, but it needs to break out those highs. So I don't want to be chasing, not going to do it. And I am still looking at SMCI, which I say this all the time. If you get into a trade accidentally, get right out. But the thesis still working on SMCI. I thought we'd get 42.5. It, like most other names, it like some of the other chip-related names, is holding on to some weakness. That prior top at 41.75. Still rather see it make some lower highs to be able to get in, but still looking pretty good. QBTS, we're going to go 1 for 1 on that. But remember, I did keystroke, and that was a legit keystroke on SMCI. I lost money on it. Thankfully, I was able to get the bulk out instantly and only hold on to a little bit for that press up. But if you get in accidentally, do not force to trade. Do not hold on to it, even though it would have worked. Another bounce off of QBTS VWAP. Going to look for the next candle to hold, and then we reload it one more time. Nice bull flag. Still think 960 the target.
All right, guys. It's been a good morning. You know, we did some. We thought about it this weekend, and it's like, to sit here and celebrate these wins, you guys already know what's good. You can see our trades at the bottom, what if we're making money, not making money or not. So I'm not going to sit here and be like, yo, Amazon's huge, Nvidia's huge. You guys can see that. So let's just go on to the next stock as we get more out here at 120. You know what? All right, get something out at O2s. I mean, we just broke above. I'm offering O2s. Give me those O2s. Yes, there it is. Okay. So again, we've already sort of planted the seed here with NVIDIA and with Amazon being on our sticky notes. So I hope if you guys do follow any of the socials, man, at Trader TV, Sean, go follow all of us because these names and these winners are here, right? Neil will just be in QBTS as he's already explained SMCI. So again, judge us on our positions, and this is what we have. So all right, what about Roblox? I'm seeing Roblox here again. Another name that I spent more money on this weekend, 61.80s. So pulling back just a little bit. Again, I like the name. Still have a little bit left from the summer, or I guess it was almost a year ago, springtime, heading into summer, where we're long in the 30s. So that's still pretty good. It did make that move all the way up to 75.80, but then it did come right back down and did not break the 200 period. So I like Roblox here, but only up 1% so far today. So RBLX. What about that RG? What was that one that we got? RGC? Yeah, that was it. Let me see what's going on right now. There it is, man. So at the open, Valley, something, Prime Valley, something like that. I said just offer 70s, man. It looks like that 70 might have got missed. And there you did. You have a lot of opportunities to get out. There's the halt at 56, makes the move down to 42, man. So as I was talking about when we looked at this earlier on, to get a little bit out and then figure out what happens next. I don't know what the share size is you're dealing with, but there goes RGC. Nice downside pressures today. But, oh, man, 99 problems, Neil. Trading A1 for over here because there it goes right now. 203, my guy, Joe. I know this guy's liking Amazon. We're liking Amazon. There's Amazon. We talked about it for the long-term account last week. And right there, Neil, this is by far right now. Days goal hit alone on this one. And then we also have the other banger with NVIDIA that's right here right now. So just a couple looks, man. And there it goes. What's going on with you in QBTS?
Same old. It's exactly at the same spot it was before. We got one profit take, about what did we get? Halfway to our goal, which was 960. So we got a 933, and we're looking to see if it can't break out. I just reloaded a second ago. The other thing I'm watching, I want to short Intel. And if we get VWAP, we get it. At this point, Palantir is an absolute, it's just a monster, but it did just do a topping tail candle. So it does seem like it's topping out. I'm not shorting the name. The plan is still to buy the dips as long as it's above 94. If you want to chase it, there's your level on the daily. Again, it did dip to 92, but I thought wrong was at 90. And if wrong is at 90, I'm not going long 92 change on Palantir. Just way too much room to be able to give it. And Palantir is not the only one we want to grab. It is going to be Tesla. Tesla's up 7%. I'm not chasing it. I know we joked around about $280. It's not impossible. If I saw maybe the mid 70s, I'd probably think short. But as long as it can pull back here and we're close enough to 260, we'll jump in off of VWAP. That's going to be the next thing we work into. Again, the only thing I want to look short is going to be Intel, because I think SMCI is gone. But this dip in Tesla, either it holds the trend or gives me VWAP. Once you give me 3 points to work off of, which at least now it is, either you hold trend or you pull back into VWAP, and it gets a little bit binary for me. So Tesla was the one that we wanted. It didn't give us the dip. At least it did. It just didn't give us one that let us get an entry that we liked. So we're going to wait for VWAP in here and see if we can't grab that bad boy, as Tesla's a beast. IBIT, disappointing. I've scratched that one off the list. You haven't even moved $1,000 in either direction on Bitcoin, so I don't see if there's going to be much of a trade here on IBIT. Disappointing, to be sure, because I thought we'd do a little more juice out of crypto today.
All right. We'll just come back over here and see what's going on. All right. NVIDIA. So, again, kind of the same talk. We took the lot out at the top. We're almost out of Amazon right now. Amazon being $3 is what it is right now. I mean, I don't know if this market tells you what's going on, but I think it's been a pretty good market so far here today. Nice upside play, and I just want to make sure that we do get out. The NASDAQ being up 1.8%. I think we've done the best for all of that. Thank you, Jeffrey, for the master trader comment. That is for sure. We'll take that one. And I just think that I'm just showing you that this can be done, right? I mean, this is what we're doing. This is why I'm on the show, to give you guys winners. Others will be on the show, analyze things, talk about different things. But, generally speaking, this is what we're doing. Both of us are trying to find the best opportunities. Whether or not they win or lose, I don't, we just put them on. So hopefully you guys can sit there, try to figure this out, and get going, right? So it's been a light day. It's been a light day for trading. So let's just figure out what's going on right now. NVIDIA is trying to go back up. If we can get $1 on this one, then great. But other than that, man, so far so good. Let's go over to Adair. It's 10 o'clock.
Keep an eye here in the markets. Here is the NASDAQ pushing into day's highs here around 490. Then we have the S&P 500 also. Nice push to the upside. We do have here some talks now that tariffs, which are going to be announced, or the reciprocal tariffs announced next week, April 2nd, are apparently going to be a little bit more measured than was initially feared or expected. Keep an eye here as well on Boeing, BA on watch. Nice move for this one on Friday, and it did gap up. That was giving back some of these moves on Friday morning. Donald Trump here, president of the U.S., did announce that the Air Force is going to be moving forward with a new generation of fighter jet, with a contract being awarded to Boeing. Allclo here on watch, OKLO on watch, this nuclear ticker, reportedly in talks with a nuclear regulator, and they also are actually going to be having their earnings tonight as well. TSLA, meanwhile, pushing nicely to the upside. Tesla trying to break here a multi-week losing streak. So let's see how this tickers and this market fare, guys. Back to you.
Yeah, we're not faring. We're faring fine in this market, but this is what I'm saying. Like, in order for there to be a trade, we need to find a trade. And right now, I don't think it's the right idea to push anything, which is what I was getting at. We could sit here and look at trades for you, try to find them. But I think the dip buys, I know Neil was looking at dip buying Tesla there. I think that would probably be.
It's not going to dip.
It's not going to dip buy. I was going to say probably good on strength. And that's sort of what I was saying about sitting here and looking for trades. I've sort of made the bed right here with this one on Amazon. Let's just see. And then on the NVIDIA dip buy, we can look at some financials maybe. I mean, some sectors that maybe we haven't looked at yet. So JP Morgan, nicely done, up that 2%. Fading back into VWAP could be a play there as well. I'm looking at some of these scanners. This is what's hitting Texas Instruments, Uber. We can look at Texas Instruments.
Right, IBIT's now going.
What are you going? IBIT, okay, so crypto 88,
Finally.
that could be something as well. Yeah, look at Texas Instruments up nicely. That's 4% today for TXN, so that's going as well. You just mentioned IBIT, which I'm going to assume means Mara goes. Yeah, so there's Mara, 1330, 1335s back there to the upside. So yeah, just looking for more. You got the SMCI and long. So the first short of the day, I guess, that got downgraded or upgraded? Remember?
SMCI was a downgrade. I don't remember by who. Not
But
that
it's
it
weak
matters.
today, which
'cause
is nice.
Yeah, I could care less who downgrades the stock. IBIT, if it's not going to dip, then it ends up breaking out the top here. You're at 87.9. It just happens to be $50 on IBIT, but you're at 87.9 on Bitcoin. Finally making a bit of a move. As long as it holds VWAP, I want to look for continuation here. It's a 24-hour market, but the next resistance about 1% higher at 50.5 here. So we're going to get long in that. I am back over at SMCI, one of the few stocks that I like short. I just thought there was multiple areas to look short on SMCI. We got in the first time, and that was a keystroke error. This time, it's already wicked once into 42 with a 41.65 as a local high. So we're into it and giving it to that high. The first time was, I think, a mistake for sure. Even though it ended up working, it was a mistake that we got out of. So IBIT, continuation play. Let's see how far this bad boy can go. I haven't really looked too much at Mara, probably a good one. I've seen a lot of people mention MSTR. Obviously, if Bitcoin's breaking out, MSTR is having a good move as well. Up 7% today is MSTR, or micro or strategy, I guess we should call it. Also breaking the 50-period moving average. It's a big, big breakout stock. I just liked IBIT today based on the levels that we were observing. Holding that 49 and lots of room to rally. So you're going to get some orders into the 20s and 30s on the way to that 50, 60 level that we were just talking about. So SMCI not going to end up working. But the difference is this time we got it where we wanted to as opposed to the error. Got the lower high right there and then give it to that top. And if it continues to go, I'll try to short it at 42.5 on some kind of a trend reversion play for SMCI. I still think until this one breaks green, it's the only stock I'm looking short on that isn't named Intel.
Yeah, exactly. Intel. Okay, so yeah, and I think you wanted to look relative weakness versus strength, right? Because the market's up that 1.8%, which is why I know the SMCI didn't work out, but that's a short name today. So you gotta try to find the levels and quickly in, quickly out. We're trying to hold on to some of these Amazon trades and NVIDIA, but we are getting lighter on both of them, right? And so there's a couple good outs for NVIDIA. It's not like the rest of them as it's not really going up. It has its moments where it goes. I don't know. I feel like we may just be barcoding in and around this 120 for a minute. Let me get another piece out right there at 10s. And then now we can hold the rest. We're only in right now about 20% of that trade. We're getting lighter and lighter into Amazon, and now let's look for something else. What about Boeing? Boeing was a name that we had talked about earlier on, and there's the fade out. I said about it on Friday, like I thought there was a chance this name should have been even up more than it was, but it gets to that 184 and still looks like it wants to have a problem with 187, 190. So if that can come into play right there for Boeing, that's definitely something that I think most of us will be looking at.
I think it's a short at 90.
Right, yeah, exactly. For a short anywhere up there. So we'll wait to see. That looks like 188.80. Something in and around there. So definitely some weakness coming in on Amazon, which is why we got out. We're starting to get more and more out. We only have about, I was going to say about 5 to 10% left on this one and about 20% left right here. So there is still some work to do on many of these names for me here to go. And we'll just wait to see if we do get that bump up. IBIT, as Neil mentioned there, starting to go. So he's already on that one. Coinbase, we can have a look. We wanted to look at Mara as well today. That's going to be way off some of the levels that we had talked about there with Mara. So we looked at 1250 where we were off the open. That name now way off of open levels for Mara. So again, pullbacks into VWAP, I think that's worth taking. 13.1, 13.2 there. AMD, all right, we can have a quick look up over there as some traders are looking here. We've, again, yeah, look, strength for sure. So I would say picking the wrong one today is hurt, right? I mean, AMD over NVIDIA, I think AMD would have been good. We would have had the same longs, 109.70, it's now at 110.70. So these longs, if we had just sort of gone over looking at VWAP for AMD as opposed to NVIDIA, we would have had a lot better luck. So let's just get flat. If this breaks 119.50, we'll still hold it just in case, but we are ready to break down a little bit flat here on NVDA if it does break lower. lower. Let's hold out in case there is some little bit of a pop, but right now it's not looking like it here on NVIDIA. So trying to play near that 119.50 if it does come through. Uber up 1% at $76. That could be a play here today as well. Uber just getting it on the scanner, so maybe it's pulling back into VWAP a little bit. Yeah, so 77, 76.50 right in the middle. I still think I want to do futures, so just trying to wait to see if we get back down into the 50 period right now. So for the TQs, that would be let's wait for 65.20 VWAP. So yeah, having a look around some of these names now.
Yeah, and I can tell you right now, QBT, when that market pulled back, QBTS lost the prior high. So if you lose Friday's highs on any breakout play, that's an out for me, no matter what. Obviously, it's not going to get to 960, but we're trying to go quarters. Well, we're actually in the teens to 960. I don't want to give it more than 30 cents if our target was sitting up there at 60, which is only about 50 pennies higher. But if you start losing, well, okay, you're continuing to lose this bid. If it holds under 9, remember the rejection of $9 on Friday. This got all the way to 8. I'm not saying I'd wait till 8 to go long again. But if you're not holding Friday's tops, I don't like you. Palantir is still looking very, very good. I'll do it this way. It's a lot easier. I don't have to type it in. I can just click it on my quote board. Got to utilize that so much more. I'm not making that keystroke of like New York NASDAQ. But Palantir pulling back to 95. The way the market's coming in, I don't know why I'm still sitting there at 94. VWAP is well above 94 now, so we're still going to wait patiently for Palantir to give us that. It's not a reload because we never got in at any point. Bitcoin wasn't doing anything, so we didn't do anything with it until it broke out the highs. It happened to be 50. We're long at 50.02. It's only now breaking 88. That was actually a sub 88 breakout. It just happened to be above those pre-market tops. Want to get another offer in the quarters, which I already thought I did. Target 50.60 here on Bitcoin. Oh yeah, and Intel still sucks.
Coin of Bit.
Well, the problem is the market's coming down now. So the ability to get short at VWAP was probably only going to be valid if the market continued on its trend higher, and now we're in a bit of a pullback phase. We're going to have to wait for the NASDAQ to bounce, in theory, to short Intel into VWAP. It's just a fail break at the top. I don't know if that wick is real at 95 because I wasn't watching the stock at the time. It's entirely possible. But Intel, it's still a dog. I know it's up 1%, but when you're 1.6, that's just not that good. When the NASDAQ's 1.6, you're under VWAP, you're under the highs. We want to join this at some point. You know what? If we are pulling back a little bit here, and you don't want to fill me at 22, then I'm going to see if I can't get the high teens here on IBIT. So the market was pulling back just a bit, so I'll get that out at 19 instead of 22, and then work for the next press higher here on Bitcoin. We're going to continue to buy dips on that. I don't know if we'll ever get Palantir or Tesla the way that they're going, but we're trying to be patient with the dips on both those names. Palantir 5%. I mean, Tesla's 7.6%.
8%.
There's just no chance I'm chasing Tesla up here when it's 7.5% to the upside. Like, that's crazy.
So, yeah, it is too much. Well, I don't know if it's too much or not. I mean, we know we can go a little bit higher than this, but yeah, those names are already gone. So, NASDAQ. All right. Yeah, IBIT is nice. 88.2 right now. Good battle back for Bitcoin. So I think that IBIT's going to be a great trade, obviously. All right, 119. We did get stopped out of NVIDIA there as it did wick that bottom. And wicked it or not, I mean, that was the stop at 119.50. So we did take a little bit more there. We just took some more at 55 and then got out once it broke at 45. So we did take a 10-cent hit on our last piece. Staying green today on NVIDIA, obviously, because that last one was not a full reload as we had sort of already looked at some weakness in that spot. There goes AMD. So congratulations to anybody that targeted that one instead of NASDAQ, instead of NVIDIA. All right, it's too bad because NVIDIA did bounce off that level that we were getting out on. There goes the TQs. Look at that, right into VWAP. We were going to look there, but we were getting stopped out of NVIDIA at the time. So I didn't think that we wanted to reload the NASDAQ, but now we'll try that 65, 65.15 into 65, working with that bottom of the day. Let's just see if the NASDAQ wants to just sort of shake itself out a little bit right now. I did want to look at Apple. That's too bad I mean, I may get back into NVIDIA because we got stopped out 30 cents ago, and there's a little bit of a bounce. So, all right, Apple, relatively weak again. So if we're going to pick on a name, short side, I do like SMCI, but you're now underneath. So maybe we need to be going short this market right now, although we're not necessarily near it for the NASDAQ. I don't know. I'm starting to feel like the NASDAQ being up 1.7 to start the week is pretty nice.
It's a lot.
Apple, It's tough to fight Apple when I am looking long here, but the NASDAQ, I might have missed that long already. So ARM is at higher days. I see that. I mean, you guys,
I wouldn't trust ARM.
No, I've already talked about Robinhood, how much we've liked that name as that just continues to go up off 35 now to 47. Yeah, go ahead, yeah.
I wasn't trying to throw cold water on ARM. It's just that for the last 2 or 3 weeks, or at least since I came back while I was gone in Florida, the volume has been really bad on ARM, relatively speaking. If you're a day trader, this is just not for you. It's done 680,000 shares. The spread is kind of trashy. There's just a bunch of other chip names that you can be in that are better day trades. It's up 5%, but AMD is so liquid. SMCI is liquid. Obviously, NVIDIA is liquid. This AMD move it's a bit crazy, and it reminded me of something that I'm just going to slap the fail on for myself right now. AMD, it broke out of this downward channel. It's now at the 50-period moving average. This is a channel we've been watching for a while.
Randy.
Now, granted, it hasn't closed above the 50-period here, so maybe not yet, but these were the conditions for a swing entry on AMD. And I mentioned Micron, if it got to 85, forget about that. AMD could be a breakout swing for me in the afternoon. We'll talk about this in the aftermarket show, but I got to start thinking about the day trade long here on AMD. First things first, manage what you have. But that was a missed opportunity. I didn't realize we were breaking that channel. You're still holding at 5.25 on IBIT, which is 88.3. There's no obvious resistance until you get to the 89 high area, like 90,000 in there. And thank you very much, Randy. Palantir, don't know what to tell you. We're not getting VWAP.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
But it is trying to break the downtrend, which is another way that I like to jump in. I love when I start drawing a trend line, and then that's right when the new bar comes in, so it ends up being in the wrong spot. So there's your trend down. It's trying to close above this little slight downward trend that we have. That's another way for me to get into it as opposed to working actually at VWAP. So the 3 names we wanted long was like IBIT, Tesla, and Palantir. We only got one of them in an ideal fashion here, and that was IBIT, but Palantir giving us this chance. Just close above the trend line or give us VWAP, and then we'll get it. Yeah, Tesla parabolic today.
Yeah, we have a reverse dollar move here, it seems like. We just punched out of NVIDIA at 119.40 as it was breaking lower. We did not have that many shares. So now I'm going to actually flip it the other way, and we could go red on NVIDIA now because I'm going to go short here against 120.30. Just some of these highs that we had some problems dealing with in the past. But there it goes. It is starting to go meme crazy as we talked about it, so we don't want to layer too much into this. If there it goes, and there it goes out. Nope, almost out, almost out, almost out. As we took this short, we're short at 120.08. So this will be about a 12, about 25-cent hit or so, depending on what happens with this on the whoosh up, right? I mean, we're going to get 120.30s. Hopefully we get a little bit better price if this does come down. So I'm trying to get something out now at 120 or so, but this looks pretty good right here. It's starting to go back up to the upside right now goes NVIDIA. So we'll be in this short. It's flat. Oops, wrong stock goes on Amazon there. It's flat right now. Let me take out a piece at 10s if we can. We do have some position on right now, but it is starting to, we can cancel that 10. It looks like it's going to hopefully come back in a little bit. I'm going to try to get something out at O's. It doesn't really want to dip. We need it to go downside right now. All these dips are getting bought as the NASDAQ's trying to figure itself out. It looks like our long on the NASDAQ was going to be right at the 50-period moving average, but we don't have it. So like I said, man, a lot of our talk are going to be some ideas, and then you guys got to be in there judging whether or not, you like it, because Neil and I, we have the ability to put on, like I said, 4 or 5 positions at once. Sometimes we'll flip them up real quick. Our stops will trigger.
Or none on Tesla.
Or none on Tesla. But at least you're in that Palantir right now. We tried to get the long on NVIDIA there, but it did get stopped out near the low of the day. So that's going to be a little bit of a problem. Is SMH?
I'm actually considering at 11. If Tesla sees 280, I might take out some of what I bought.
280, yeah, isn't that wild?
Yeah, it's insane on Tesla right now. Look, I was sitting on the bid at 220, 222 while I was on vacation and happened to get picked up at that low, and I like the 220 area. But if we do see 280 today, or at least adjacent to 280, I'm really thinking about taking a little something off. That's in the PA. I don't want to go short that today for the day trade automatically, but it just might be the first available trade on Tesla. I just didn't want to chase it, so we didn't. And that's the thing about it. Like, I wanted to go dip buy in Palantir, but like, be careful what you wish for. Like, it breaks trend, but if it loses trend, I got to get out of that. And sometimes buying the high on the stronger stock, they're both strong, on the stronger stock is better than buying that dip entry. Everyone likes to buy a dip because you feel like you get a good price and all that. But Tesla, you could have literally bought any price on Tesla today, and you almost couldn't have lost. It's not 100% true because there's a few spots in there that you could have got burned. But as long as we hold on trend, which we're barely doing so on Palantir, we're going to hold this dip buy and see if we can't get to 96. I did get another out. I just saw us sort of cresting at 89 or in front of 89, but now it's kind of smooth sailing. There has not been a red candle since the breakout here on Bitcoin, or IBIT, I should say, because Bitcoin, I mean, it should be the same thing, but I haven't really looked at that chart. So still strong move here in IBIT. I do think we can get to that 50, 60 level. But wow, Tesla. Tesla is just an absolute moonshot.
Is it? Oh my God.
At this point. I'm really thinking, it's almost 10:30, and I have to start thinking about a potential reversion on this. If it gets to 280, it's so much easier. But 9% on Monday, market's up 1.8. Tesla's still, and the 200 period is at that 280 level. It's just hard not to look for some kind of a short if we get at least into the mid 70s, let's just call it. So not waiting for 80 necessarily. This is ridiculous on Tesla. Ridiculous.
I'm starting to think the shorts are no good anywhere now because the market is along, right? I mean, Trump has come out here. We've talked about tariffs. We've talked about some flexibility. So on that note, man, we just had a great, now it comes out. It's too bad it doesn't matter, but we were getting more out there at 120. We did take an L on that position overall, but we just this broke 120. Right there to the downside, and we just started getting filled up right there on NVIDIA as we start to break through the top of the day right there. It's too bad because we'll get thrown around a little bit. We only have Amazon and NVIDIA today. Amazon's still $2, and that's still going higher. Well, not really. It's slowed down, but this NVIDIA was a tricky one. I still like the short here as you're at some decent levels near the highs, 120.50 right now, but there it goes. There it starts to go. So lucky enough to get some out there, but it is starting to break higher. That's too bad because if we just didn't have that trade, that stop order, now we'd be still in the long, but there it goes. Nicely cooking to the upside is NVIDIA and Amazon. It's only 10:20, so lots of stuff moving around right now. Oracle's making the move downside right now, but still up on the day. This is hitting a scanner down near day's low again, just bouncing off of it. But again, Oracle retracing just a little bit as well, back down in. So futures at the high of the day. This could be a good retracement back down into short. Like if we ever got some negative news, I mean, you're right here, right now. If you did think about something negative, then Amazon, TQs, NVIDIA, they're all near the highs right now, especially these NASDAQ names. So look for potential retracement back, but right now, NASDAQ up. How much? NASDAQ 1.8, and the TQ is almost up 6%. So looking like a top take here for me. I'm thinking about going short, but again, like we were sitting here at the long, so definitely prefer the long than the short, but it's got to come in, right? I mean, these levels, it came in right there, and we missed it as we were waiting at 65. So let's try to be patient here, wait for some more short opportunities, and it looks like we're ready for a Dara over at the screen. Sector watch, maybe? Let's go find out. Is it sector watch?
Small cap.
Small cap. Okay, so let's go find out what small caps are dancing around.
Beautiful look here for the IWM, pushing nicely here out of some resistance from late last week. Still up, though, less than 1%, or I guess, sorry, we're up here about 2% of the day. We're up nicely here on the day, near day's highs here. Apologies for my vision there. Keep an eye here in Amprius Technologies, pulling back a little bit, but still near day's highs here for AMPX. Day 2 earnings play. They posted earnings on Thursday evening with some positive analyst notes on Friday morning. Then we have NAK. This ticker has run in the past, and today, this morning, Northern Dynasty released a press release basically commenting on Donald Trump's decision to sign an executive order to increase Americans' mineral production. They are in that mineral space, so NAK getting a bump from that decision. Then this morning, we have Microalgo, MLGO, basically announcing a offering here, 8 cents a share, valued at around $20 million. It's worth noting here, MLGO, frequent small cap runner with about a 4.7 million share float. About 80% of that float is going to be sold short, guys. Back to you.
Ooh, okay.
Thank you very much, Adara. Microalgo, Yeah, that's a crazy one. Last week it was on the, I know that was on the watch list at least one day last week, I do believe. So, you know what, I like Intel short still. We just haven't really got much of a pop. You just did a topping tail candle in the VWAP, lower highs in a market which has higher highs. And don't get it twisted, everybody. When I said I would look next, if I don't get a long entry to short Tesla, we're still talking about the 200 period moving average being $10 away. Like it's up, I know it's up 10% now. We're $10 away from the 200 period, but you're starting to get into that resistance zone from earlier on in, I won't say the week, but in the month. Like you're not at 275 yet, but the way that it's moving and the lack of, like look at the 15-minute here. Like there just is nothing standing in its way. But I'm not chasing these tops. That's all I was getting at. Like I'd rather short Intel because it's crap. But this thing gets past 275, I'm looking reversion. And it seems like it wants to go. Like this market is right now, like it's a long. What is with 29 on,
Which?
Sorry, 30 on, 29, 30 on Palantir. There's just a, I don't know, there's just like a bit of a fake wall here of not that much size at 25, 30. But you're seeing it hold now for the last 5 minutes on Palantir. It's broken trend. It's holding the higher low. If it loses 24.8, it's probably trouble. But there's somebody just sort of sitting here, iceberg at 25.30, not letting it go. This one, 5% to the upside. It's got plenty of room to rally. I don't see why we don't see 96 in here. So yeah, I was not discussing shorting Tesla imminently. I was just laying the groundwork for if we see anywhere close to 280. I just think that's a short level. We said it in the pre-market prep. I just didn't think there was a chance we'd get there this fast. Yet here we are. So IBIT's still looking good. Now Palantir is starting to bounce a little bit higher. Intel still making lower highs and lower lows and looking incredibly weak, but it just doesn't even pop enough to get me in. Let's take care of some business.
Yeah, sure, why not? Our friends at Trade the Pool right now are looking for you to scan that QR code because they are a game-changing platform that caps your risk while giving you the opportunity to trade real shares using, of course, company capital. That means no more risking. You guessed it, your savings. Trade the Pool now offers unlimited trading period during the evaluation phase. No pressure, no rushing. Take your time. Perfect for your strategy and get funded on your terms. Remember, your losses are capped at a one-time evaluation fee and your profits are unlimited. Make sure you do head to tradethepool.com to start your trading journey with them now. And that QR code does give you those 10 points off. So go make sure you do check them out there at Trade the Pool. Great opportunities to be in trading nowadays. We talked about sort of the volatility that's there. So, you know, Real Trading is who we trade with, and then Trade the Pool, again, gives you that little sponsorship there. If you are in the United States, of course, Trade the Pool open to you guys. All right, Amazon, another out there just quickly at 203.60s or so as we start to pull back a little bit. Okay, so we're in NVIDIA and Amazon. We're in NVIDIA short. I guess I can cancel my 250 on Tesla, 250, sorry, which is where we're bidding, only $20 ago. Again, we should have just got a little more aggressive off the 200 period. Any stocks that we like early, maybe we should just look at that 200 period. I mean, Amazon didn't come close. We bought off the pre-market low. So again, another name that kind of is working out right there. You mentioned SMR earlier as some names to maybe get some, take some profits if you've had a bigger run in it or vice versa on the short for some of these names. And again, still a little bit of work to do up to $20. If they can get there, then we do like SMR. It got up to $19.20 again. This is a really funny market because some of the stocks that I'm looking at aren't at day's high, despite where this NASDAQ is. So I really wonder what's kind of leading the way here. As I pull down my watch list, let's have a quick look, whoopsies, at some of these names that we follow here today. So DraftKings, let's go sort by percentage points to see what's up. Okay, so I don't know why that didn't save. I fixed
well,
this.
It ain't Netflix.
Mara up 12 today. Tesla up 9. Jeez, man, Tesla. Oh, man. As soon as everybody says they're selling this name is when it starts to rip up. I think right now we're getting a lot of like buyer exuberance in this. Maybe the opposite may start to happen with Tesla soon. This could be just a beautiful update right there. Watch out for maybe pullbacks. Shopify up 5%. Coinbase, some of these names, I know Neil's in IBIT there. IBIT up nicely today, 5%. Affirm, another beat up name up. AMD up 5. ARM up 5. Palantir up 4.5. There's SMR. Meta up 4 and a bit, Amazon up 3 and a bit. So yeah, I guess the whole NASDAQ's just trying to go. I think it looks like it's on the back of a lot of Tesla. All right, man, here we go. Nice pullback as we sort of did that little review there. I don't know why we weren't looking at some of these stocks. Give me that bid down here at 17. Okay, we'll have to punch some 22s right there on NVIDIA. The best bid that we got was 22s. So not that low there as we should have been looking over here. I didn't realize we came all the way back to the 50 period for NVIDIA. We tried to stay with it, but this time instead of shorting the middle, even though it was VWAP, we just shorted the day's high. But we didn't get enough out there at the bottom. So hopefully we'll get another opportunity to do that. But NVIDIA really moving around. Top to 50 period. We should have had a bid there. It does get as low as 15s. Let's see if it comes back in. Oh man, missed opportunity there.
Yeah, and as you were going through that little bit of a review, just look, same range in Palantir. It's still 95 to 95.5. It's going back and forth before it can potentially break out. But I just looked over my quote board. Netflix is going to go red, actually, if things continue the way that they're going. With the market so strong, Netflix, yikes. I haven't looked at this daily chart yet today, but look at this VWAP, not VWAP, the 50-period moving average in this 965 area. You've just been finding resistance up here on Netflix. Ideally, I want things to go up, so it would be great if you could just continue with the market and then this holds a 50 period and continues with the rest of the move. But relative weakness over there in Netflix, it's not everything that's looking strong, and yeah, now this is going to go continuing to break lower. So there's your point. We just didn't get VWAP on Intel. It is what it is. You don't have to be forcing the short, but it's the only thing that's weak. So Palantir holding for this little bit of a pullback that it had, not quite the VWAP. We're trying to reload in front of 95 and cover in front of 95.5, hold for 96. IBIT is slowed down and is starting to pull back. Didn't quite get to 50, 60, but you're still going to hold trend. Pull back into prior high is essentially what's happening right now on Bitcoin. So that'll be about the $50 level on IBIT. I think it was 86.8 or so if you're following Bitcoin in particular. So we're still dip buying this particular name. And what interesting timing, because we're about to throw to Adara anyways.
Let's do this.
For the crypto update.
Let's see what some of these cryptocurrency names are doing. For one, I think it's worth noting Bitcoin on the daily chart here actually trying to break out a little bit of this local downtrend. We did, of course, have this double top culminating in a new all-time high on Inauguration Day on January 20th. Then we get into this downtrend. But as of late, as I mentioned last week during the segment, we make a little bit of a bottom last Tuesday, or I guess 2 Tuesdays ago now. Now, since in that 2-week period, since we've been in a little bit of an uptrend, we've broken this most recent resistance from mid to late last week. And right now, we're above that 88,000 level. Next clear level of resistance would be most likely that area just above 92,000 that we made on March 6th. Then here, this double top at the very beginning of March. So some areas for Bitcoin to overcome before it gets to that key 100,000 level. We've not seen a decisive hold of 100,000 since early February, guys, for some context there. Also, MSTR on watch once again, along with all of crypto. This crypto bounce in general was attributed to this overall market sentiment change with regards to the April 2nd tariffs, now viewed as being a little bit more measured than they initially were seen to be. And MSTR purchasing some Bitcoin over the weekend, but not as much as it necessarily has in the past, about just under $600 million worth of Bitcoin over the last week from what I was seeing. Now, in terms of other crypto names, Bitcoin up about 4%, Ethereum up about 4%. We've got Ripple here up about 2.5%, Solana and Doge both up more than 6 or 7%, Cardano up 3.5%. So strength across the board here. A lot of these crypto names trading sharply higher. Back to you.
Crypto, I mean,
too bad about Mara. That's gone.
Where's Mara? Oh, yeah,
it was huge already, the $12 mark. I don't know. I mean, it is falling back into 88,000.
We're almost
so there is something there. Thank you, Adara, for your crypto update. We can have just a quick look. I did want to see again what, as I was looking at NVIDIA, which seems to only want to go up right now. So we'll be getting ready to get stopped out of this one through 75s as we tried the short. We've been getting out of it, so it's been fine, but not great. Let's just reload this just to have a quick look because I did want to see what Ripple was up to because if Jared mentioned it, I missed it. So XRP, all right, there it is, man, up 7%. We talked about that could be the one going in the last 24 hours, now up 3% there for XRP. So again, that decision last week seems to have been a favorable one. Everyone talking to me about Ripple, there it goes, talking to me about Ripple anyways. All right, so I was gonna say there it goes because it looks like NVIDIA is gonna, there it goes, take out that top. So one last fail there, man. We were long early and then we started to go short against the day's high as we thought maybe there was a problem problem with NVIDIA. It doesn't look like it. 99 problems, not that one. And Amazon not going. So it does look like I still want to be here for the short. I'm kind of just waiting for that. If we could see some volume here, we've been getting out on these. It's been taking out the top. So the short not working out for NVIDIA, but I want to get back in this name for sure. So we'll go 1 for 2 today. Short on NVIDIA not working, and then obviously the Amazon long is working right now. Palantir, like I said, the long probably. Unless we see a reason, man, there's the NASDAQ. Every time I look down, like up 1.6, up 1.8, up 1.9, still trucking higher here goes NASDAQ, the NASDAQ, and the ES, I guess, right? Yeah, up 1.5 is XLF. That was one that I know you and I talked about trying to get more financials coming into play. XLF up 1.6, nice for an ETF. I did not buy XBI. We talked about that last week. So something that I should be buying, that's up another 2% or so right now, or no? Okay, yeah, 1.6. So what is weak? The sectors, we go over those.
Just very quickly, from the open, I know we always talk about percentage gain is always from the prior close, but if you look at it from the open, Chinese names are red, PayPal is red, Apple is also red, Uber is CCL, and then remember we said Netflix down 1% to the open, Intel, Disney as well down 1%, so it looks like the streamers are not doing very well here. And what is ND? Oh, that's that.
Reversal?
No, that's that stock Raheem was. Look, why? What is this random venture?
Okay.
No, it's just a. I'm trying to remember which crypto name it was. They're invested in. It doesn't really matter. I'll think about it later. But strength in Palantir, but not so much coming into Bitcoin. So same range in Palantir, 95 to 95.5. That's gonna bug me because I forget the name of that stock. But starting to come back, continuing to come back in here on IBIT from that 50 break. Now all of a sudden you got two things going on: pulling back into prior high. And you've got a trend, a potential trend break on the downside that I'd revert back into. So a couple of ways that IBIT can come in here. I'm going to hold it as long as we hold VWAP. I want to continue to work on that long. Look at HODL. And Nike is another one, man. Like, this Nike's not on my quote board, but Nike continuing to drop, like down 1%, still getting punished. And we mentioned this
Come on, Nike.
last week. Like, let it chill. Like, it just lost a 52-week low after earnings, and you're still working on hopefully consolidating somewhere. But yeah, still some weakness happening in Nike. It hasn't really gotten back to the Friday low, which would be an interesting place for a bounce. Yeah, but there's not strength everywhere. I mean, there's weakness, trust me. You want to find it in Apple, you want to find it in Nike, you want to find it in Intel, you want to find it in Netflix. But everything else, absolutely churning. So we're looking for that 96 on Palantir. Haven't got the reentry spot yet on IBIT, although it's getting really close to breaking that trend. And Tesla, Tesla is an absolute beast. I am half convinced that when 11 o'clock comes, I'm going to ring the register. I think maybe I'll take a quarter out of what we recently bought at 222, as long as it's close enough to this 280. If it's already pulled back, maybe I don't do it at the 60s. But Tesla holding for some strength. This thing is an absolute rocket ship. I'll slap the fail for not getting into that long.
Nothing wrong with taking advantage of that. I
didn't think we'd already be here, so you know.
No, that's quick. I mean,
surprised.
You know, Sharif says, quick as you like on that one. Nice move to the downside. Look, man, more covering here for NVIDIA as we wait for that 121 to finally break. Let's see if we can get VWAP again, 120.10s, 120.15s. If we can get that, then all good. You mentioned NCAA. We actually have, this is pretty cool. Neil and I were looking at this. This is Profit X. So it's like a new sports betting site, which is real cool. You can actually, what I found was this is peer-to-peer. So you set your own line. You can come in here and pick your own lines as we go over to the NCAA basketball futures. Look at this. This is the other thing that you could do. You could take no. So talk about like sports betting, how awesome that is. Not one website that I know of, not FanDuel, not anything else, can you bet no. So will Auburn win the national championship? Right now, plus 520, which is 5-1 on yes, or 7-1 the other way on no. So you can take no. Like if you think that like Duke does not have a chance, minus 250, boom, right there. So
You're like me.
Yeah, where's Michigan State?
You're a Duke hater like me. Michigan State's not
probably not on here.
No, they'll be on there.
20-1. Yeah.
Down.
Yeah. But so go ahead. Yeah.
What I love about it's a dynamic market because I'm looking at that Bama line.
Yeah, right.
And what you'd want to see is that comes back a little bit because I think of the top seeds like I'm not. I just think they're a little.
They're the
bit
one that's giving you
I think they're a
sketchy-
little overrated.
Yeah, that's what
so
this
you
is
wait.
for.
It's like the market. Like you wanted to buy the dip. You want to see that come back a little bit. I think it's a little expensive on the no right now, but it's like buying the dip on IBIT. You just have to wait for it to come to you, get it in good, and it's just like trading, which is it's so different because a lot of times you can watch the momentum of it in the bid ask.
Right.
And that's why it works with what you guys are sort of used to as traders, is you can see the line come to you and then swipe the book to be able to get your fill at the odds you want. Well, it's the Bama one that I'm looking at because I don't bet on Michigan State because I'm just not rational when it comes to them. I always think they're going to win.
Yeah, I mean, 20 to 1, I mean, you could sprinkle a little bit, but yeah, I mean, it's tough as a two.
I know myself. I'm always bullish on the Jays. I'm always bullish on Michigan State. I'm always bullish on the Bills. I'm just not rational, so I don't bet on those teams. I'm a bit of a homer when it comes to them. But I am buying the dip right now.
All right, let's go over to Adara.
This part of the show is brought to you by eSignal. Traders, listen up. First month free. That's right, we are waiving fees. Trade smarter, not harder. Upgrade to Elite. Analyze, strategize, and capitalize. Our platform is everything. Infinite data, instant trading, lightning fast market insights, game-changing charts, predict with backtesting, reliable real-time data, global markets at your fingertips. All in one platform. Do not miss out. Execute your best trades now with eSignal. Are you ready to elevate your trading? Scan the QR code or click the link in the description. Back to you.
Yeah, make sure you click that link. That's for sure. We do
Loving some eSignal.
Yeah, we're using eSignal here. We've sort of showed that, and I sort of showed a little bit today some of the scanning and whatnot that does go through with eSignal. Very, very important. And I mean, that's how you try to find some of these levels. You know, we haven't been very good today trying to grab NVIDIA, but at the same time, we'll have short, and look what just happened, man. We just pulled back again into 120.50, so we'll put a bid down there in case that does happen one more time. Futures at highs. I would think shorting the futures is probably a good play at this level. I don't know why we chose NVIDIA up here again. I'm just sort of been obsessed with it. We do have $2.50 in the money right now for Amazon, a name that the three names. So weird. So I gave you two last week, and you guys know we talked about Netflix as being a dip buy opportunity. Well, this one has really ripped, man, up into the 50-period moving average. But today it's having some kind of ways as it's falling back in as well here. Down 0.5%. So I know we looked at SMCI. I know we looked at a few different names. But I do think that this does have an opportunity to get back into some buy zones. So again, what about a 950, a 945 or so area for that? I did want to always look at this RGC. We got $40 in super chats on this one, and I just hope that there was some of that advice. At least we, don't give all the best advice all the time, but sometimes we're okay. And that was sell at least half of your position there off the open, not half, but at least get back to flat. So you're playing with house money. So that has had a move down. You did mention that you were long at $10. This is trying to settle down, but it's not halted. It's just the volume rate here, and I just want to show you on some of these names, like it goes through, that's fine, but 10 shares, like some dark pools, 200 shares. The spread right now isn't that bad, man. Like there is 100 shares here at 47.50. There is 100 shares here at 47.05. So depending on what you're seeing, it's not always the truth. Trading in the middle, I would say if you're trying to trade this, cross into some of these levels and pick up an odd fill maybe somewhere, but you don't have to pay these prices. There are levels going through here that are in between. So just get ready. The spread is not necessarily this $2. There are part fills in here that you can have. So each one of these are denominated with 100 shares minimum. So that means that that's there, and then there could be also reserve orders, right? And so,
which I guarantee you on this stock.
Yeah, exactly. So just get ready for that. As I know a lot of you were talking about being a little scared there sometimes of trading with illiquid names. This is definitely an illiquid name here, RGC, but there is some levels in between there. Okay, now it's 10:41. Let's go over to the green screen once again with Adara.
The green screen is looking incredibly green right now, of course, led by these tech plays, electronic technology and tech services, both looking great, especially our top sector here, electronic technology. We have Broadcom, we have Apple, we have NVIDIA, all really strong here, including GE as well, nice play. Now, if you look here at technology services, a little bit more mixed. Meta, Oracle, Google, all looking great here, but we have Netflix noticeably red and Microsoft a little bit flat to red on the day here. Finance looking great, BRKB, JPM, MasterCard, Morgan Stanley, all really strong. Retail trade here, it's really hard to find a red name here. Even Home Depot is great, and this one was downgraded by Piper Sandler this morning along with Lowe's. Now we have some strength in health technology, commercial services, consumer services. We also have here producer manufacturing, consumer durables led by a lot of push to the upside here in Tesla, energy minerals and transportation all strong. A little bit of weakness to mixed sentiment here in communications, which was really strong earlier in the year, but starting to give up some of that relative strength. Consumer non-durables also a little bit mixed to flat with PG to the downside this morning, guys. Back to you.
Oh, man. All right.
Well, you don't surprise me that a stock like when money goes back into tech, then maybe it comes out of some safe things. We talked about rotating maybe out of the China and some of the. I didn't look at Europe.
Out of China?
I didn't look at Europe yet today, but every single time you say China, of course, here from my left,
yeah, we hear
someone
from
repeating
Sharif over there.
Always good fun there, Sharif. But I just put a trailing stop on Palantir. Get to IBIT because we got the dip buy in IBIT. But I put the trail when we wicked the high on Palantir. Got trailed, and now it's out at 96. It just got to 96. I got out at 95, 80 something. I believe I got like 95, 80 something. So we dip bought into the 95 even, and this is continuing to go 6% up. Kind of a broken record where I'm just like, I feel like we've gone a little bit far, a little bit fast. Want to make sure that we're taking some outs. And Palantir really could see 100 today. Like that is the next level on the daily chart. We'll just have to wait for a dip buy to get back in. We were obliged with Bitcoin pulling back and IBIT giving you that 50 reload. So it didn't go to 49, but it broke out the top. If we like the long, either it's fill in the gap, give us our long there, or just sort of working on all the dips here in IBITs. We're still in this. And Mike Guardian. What up, Mike? Great name in the chat. Hood is crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole market is crazy. Robinhood, look, if crypto's doing this, I look over at the 2% day, the names that got beaten up, like percentage gain the most, and got cut in half here, Robinhood. Tesla got cut in more than half from its highs. Those are the ones having the outsized moves. Maybe Palantir didn't necessarily. No. Maybe it didn't get cut in half or anything, but you know it's one of those outsized movers. The only thing with Robinhood is it's at the 50 period right now at 49. Like these just, I don't want to chase these at highs. 10% up. I think when it's at a top like this, dip into VWAP. I'm trying to resist the temptation to short all of these trend breaks in the moment. Like Robinhood is going to be a gorgeous trend break, and it's also setting up on the daily chart as well. Like look at that tight trend line. And on the daily, you're also at resistance. It's very tempting to take that curl. You just have to have a really tight entry and exit, I think. Like it breaks it, don't chase. Like if it breaks that trend line, maybe you get in like on a break of the prior bar, get like a 70s, and then you're only risking to 49. Because I think you want to go minimal risk on a short trade because we've just been knocking it out of the park. And even this trend break only gave you like 30, 40 cents. So you can only risk 10 to 15 if you're only going to get 30, 40. I think from here you get more, though. We'll see. We'll see on Robinhood. I don't know if I want to short this name, to be honest with you. It looks like a good setup. I'd rather work back into some longs. Palantir's already at 97.
Palantir is nuts.
Adara?
This part of the show is brought to you by WorkSport. Introducing a new discovery on the NASDAQ, WorkSport, ticker WKSP. WorkSport is a U.S.-based manufacturer, and they're rapidly expanding with growing revenues, government contracts, and innovative green energy products designed to power your life off-grid. Whether you're on the move or seeking sustainable energy solutions, WorkSport has you covered. Now trading on the NASDAQ under WKSP. Discover the future of clean energy with WorkSport. Back to you.
You don't know anything
Flexibility
about
on tariffs,
and it seems to be flexing the market here. That is for sure. Okay, like we're starting to go. I mean, NVIDIA is now at 120, 125s and going higher. Right now, Amazon's trying to, oh, here it is. NVIDIA. Okay, hold on a second. I want to check out AMD quickly because that was a name that we identified early as being pretty strong, up to 112. This is up 5% as well. Like we're talking about Tesla pushing 10% right there. I think it was even 10% at 274. So that's going to be a monster name there, going higher and higher and higher today is Tesla. Amazon's back to that 203. We are waiting to get out right now at 88s if we're able to do that. Yeah, there it is right there. So nice move to get out right there. Palantir was great at those levels, as you mentioned. Is Apple finally starting to go right now? An apple a day, right? Yeah, okay, so they're at the 200 period. So maybe if you're thinking there's some kind of weakness in any of these names, Apple right now trying to break through, whether or not they do that up here at 220 could be worth it. I mean, the futures right now are at the highs. We talked about where that level was coming through. I'm going to try a little bit of Apple. We'll punch in a little bit here at 90s. Just giving until that top wick there of 220.20s. We'll see about shorting it into that level right there, but that's going to be Apple. We do have some shares on board now. So finally, a name that's not as strong as the market, playing that game short now for Apple. Short right here at 93. The third name that will be in here today is going to be Apple. Just trying to give it that 20 cents, which means we do need a pullback into 40s or so. Yeah, maybe that's not enough. Maybe this doesn't happen into those lows. Like we do keep on resisting this 40 level. This could just be a game where maybe we just play the levels. But for right now, yeah, we're short Apple, long Amazon. And that's about it, man. The Palantir, like the last time we sold this name was at 114 and we flipped it into Tesla. So I think we're probably net on that. But maybe we, just because Tesla's moving up today, but maybe we get some more out of Palantir if we do get back into this 110, 115 area. Looks like it's trying to go there for sure. Up 7% today, PLTR. So that one's really starting to work out for us. Other than that, let's just stay what we're doing, man. And NVIDIA, Palantir, Micron up 3% today. Apple trying to hold out. Amazon a good one. DraftKings over $40 now again, as we talked about, like this name at 35. So you're just have missed, like, it's not great practice to look back and say like you missed all these levels because when they were there, we were talking about them. So you'll just feel regrets. And I just feel like right now, that's the one thing that we don't want to have. Stick to what you're doing. This could just be one of those days that, happens. Tomorrow, we pull back, right? What about, we're all getting all excited and all like, oh, like Neil just mentioned about flexibility. Well, what if he wakes up to, well, he's obviously, I guess not Biden, right? So I guess he's awake right now.
Hope so.
If they come out and start talking, what if someone asks him, hey, what did you mean about flexibility? And then he goes, well, I didn't mean this. And then the next thing you know, this market does hit the skids one more time. But for right now, NASDAQ nicely done to the upside. And we're taking whopping 10 cents right now on Apple as we hope for this one to get a little bit lower. So shorting the weak names finally instead of just shorting NVIDIA. Let's see what happens here with Apple. Anything before we go? We're going to talk about
shorting pops into, like Intel's going to get to VWAP. It's one of the few things that looks relatively, we talked about this already. Lower highs, all that good stuff. So going to start working the short off of VWAP for that. Palantir is
still busting higher though. Wow.
You know what? Palantir, we showed that daily chart, $100. Got in too late, now too early. We played 95 to 96. It wants 100. So it's at 97.5. And quite simply, the 100 level is just when it first broke 100. Well, it's not. Yeah, when it broke 100 back into February, there was a pullback right into like 99 change, 99.5. And so it was a little support there. And then on the re-break, there was support the next day at $100. And it's 100, which is a psychological level. If it gets to 100, I think I got to look for a short on Palantir. I don't have to. It's just I'm going to. Let's leave it at that. Like, you don't have to do anything except pay your taxes and.
Even that, I mean.
Well, I mean, you could Wesley Snipes it if you want, but I would just.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, unadvised.
It's unadvised not to. So shorting into VWAP there on Palantir. IBIT, we're still looking for either a stronger bounce off 50, which takes you to the highs, or maybe we'll get a reload before that. You're starting to go a little sideways, which makes sense. It's 1050, and when it's 1050, we go to Adara.
Get it.
We're going to be talking here about money talks, but I think it's worth noting we were just talking about Donald Trump and tariffs. About 10 minutes ago, he actually posted on X, and started this post, oddly enough, in the third person, about more tariffs, specifically with regards to Venezuela, saying that President Donald J. Trump or himself did announce that there's going to be a secondary tariff or reciprocal tariff here on Venezuela, taking place, of course, on April 2nd, 2025, what he's been calling Liberation Day. So one additional reciprocal tariff that we know of heading into April 2nd. But yeah, it is worth noting, even though there are some talks, there will be more measured tariffs. We're going to have to wait and see what happens there in about a week's time. So that, I just wanted to quickly address that. Now, in terms of the US dollar, nice push to the upside. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going on 5 straight days of green for the USD after a pretty nice push to the upside, a little bit of a head and shoulders pattern for that US dollar on the daily chart. Let's see if we're able to sustain this relative strength. In terms of economic data, it's a bit of a lighter day. We did have, as mentioned earlier, stronger than expected S&P services and composite PMI, weaker than expected S&P manufacturing PMI coming through earlier today. We have Fed's Bostic speaking here at 1:45. Now I'm seeing new to the calendar. We're going to have Donald Trump and the Louisiana governor speak at 2. So Donald Trump comments at 2 p.m. They were not on the calendar last time I checked earlier today, so keep an eye on that. Then we'll also have Trump here at a Greek independence celebration at 3 p.m. And at 3:10, we're getting comments from Fed's Bar. So pretty busy afternoon from a public speaking perspective, not a ton of economic data. And before we send you back to the guys, we want to take a moment to thank our friends at ProfitX. Are you looking for unbeatable odds on the biggest games? Switch to ProfitX's peer-to-peer platform, where you set the price. No more one-size-fits-all lines. It's like crafting your own picking strategy with real-time trading tools. Secure the best odds, track the action, and watch your plays come alive. Experience total control at every step. ProfitX, sports playing reimagined. Back to you.
Wow, NVIDIA, yeah, thanks about that. Yeah, we like that ProfitX. I think that's an interesting play there with ProfitX. Thanks to Dara for that. Look at NVIDIA. I'm glad we stopped shorting it. But I'm disappointed that we shorted it to begin with. But look at NVIDIA now up 3.5% as we go gadget NVIDIA chips. Nicely done there to the upside on that one. So yeah, congratulations to anybody that was able to find out for some. That's Apple right now, but some nice NVIDIA trades right there upside. But I think the real play probably was an AMD, as we talked about that name, giving you some nice love there to the upside for AMD. I don't know. I think it was a better play than NVIDIA today.
Oh, yeah. Today, AMD at 6%.
Yeah, not as an investment, but AMD, yeah. I just think NVIDIA's a dog that wags a tail, right, obviously?
This trend break on AMD, man, like you gotta put some respect on the name, because anytime you have this distinct downward channel, it broke the channel.
Come on,
it's broken the 50-period moving average. Like this, yeah, AMD might be I don't want to jinx it or anything, because now that I've said it, it'll probably lose the 50-period, and this is now going to be short-lived. But if it closes, holds that for tomorrow, the swing trade could go in, and then the hold to the 200-period moving average, and then see where it can go from there. The stop at the prior low, like it's 10 to 15. I don't know what the exact math will be, because it's a tomorrow thing, but you could be risking 10 to 15% to see if you can't get 25, 30 points and then hold the rest on AMD. It's looking awfully good. It's been a while since we said that. Like I said, we're shorting into VWAP on Intel, but the other thing that's happening is the market's at the high. Like NASDAQ's at the high, ES is at the high, Bitcoin put in a lower high into 50. So I don't necessarily love this for an auto reload here on BTC, on IBIT, I should say. Lower high. Show me a little bit more strength in this. Otherwise, we'll wait till VWAP here on IBIT. Just don't love what I'm seeing. And the market's at the high of the day. Why are you making lower highs and pulling back into support? I'd hate for this to be a dip buy and then breaks trend. It's already showing you enough relative weakness for the strong names. All right, so Intel, we're going to short here into VWAP, but respect the prior close, which is 24.25. And if it gets down into there, take some profit out on that. Completely ignored the Chinese names this morning. Didn't really think there'd be too much of a trade there, but weakness.
Yeah.
BABA flushed at the open. It's trying to put in some higher lows as we speak, but it seems like Alibaba, I don't know what that wick's all about, but it seems like Alibaba was doing what we thought it might threaten to do, which is this little flag or channel on the daily. If it presses underneath here, I'm just thinking you're short if we break this bottom line of the trend line, and then you're going to get to the 200-period moving average. So this is right on the it's just bouncing right on that trend, right on that Friday support level. Bit of a flat bottom break potential here underneath that 134 on Alibaba. Worth watching. I don't know if it's going to do it today. It's kind of used it for support in the short term here. But yeah, weakness in China. It's not all green everywhere. Like it feels like the way the market is screaming in Tesla. Yeah, some money coming out of China, which makes sense when it was going into the U.S.
All right, we're back Greensville here on Apple, as Apple just absolutely tanked right now. So we'll wait to see what happens right over there on this one. Because Brendan's already eating lunch, let's just figure out what's for lunch. Must have come in a little bit early, as Brendan is excited, boy. This is one hungry man. Okay, today, what's for lunch? We're going to figure it out. It is called chili chicken today for lunch, with vegetable fried rice, wok tossed bok choy with chili chicken, okay, and fortune cookies. All right, so chili chicken. Oh, as in okay, so chili peppers. I thought it might have been a chili with chicken. Yeah,
that's
chili.
What I was thinking. That makes,
well, I mean, why else they have fortune cookies, bok choy, vegetable fried rice?
I was given like some screw face, like what?
I was just like, I don't mind chicken and chili. I don't know if I've ever really had it. I think it'd be okay. I know some people have turkey chilies.
So not to get off topic, but like sometimes we'll do like turkey ground beef in chili just because it's a little more lean.
Right, yes.
But I think
I've heard of turkey for sure.
But I've never done like chicken. No, but like turkey.
Yeah, so chili chicken. So Chinese chili chicken, I'm going to say, or I don't know what
makes
exactly.
More sense.
But that's what it is. But right now, so thank you. That's what's for lunch. We've got the menu here every day, so we'll be going over that. We'll be going. Adara does not like spicy stuff.
No, not even
there,
a little
Sebastian.
bit.
Kind of the opposite on that one. All right, well, we're not going oppo too much here on Apple because right now we are starting to come back in to the downside, man. Nice little trade here, 50 cents in the money. We just put on a couple hundred shares, but we're going to get out of some downside right now and just see if we can absorb some of this play. NVIDIA's really pulled back as well. That's now underneath 220. So as the market, sorry, that's not NVIDIA. That was Apple. My bad. Look, I was confused. I had them on the same level too there. NVIDIA still holding it out. I was like, NVIDIA's down to 120. There it is. Nice move there as the futures remain quite high right there. NVIDIA pull back longs. We should have just stuck with the long where we lost our way there. Gave it all back going short. NVIDIA not a great play. But it's 50 cents now as we just take out some more Apple. Apple's really starting to go. So this is like good trade back in for the rest of the day here. We'll see if Apple continues to go. Amazon, great out there. We have 2% left of Amazon. We'll get out if it breaks the VWAP. Other than that, man, that's about all that's going on over here. Let's just wait to see. Out some more Apple might as well if we can get this low. But there goes Apple, 219, 60s. We're bidding 67s. I don't know why. Give it to us, right? Did we get it? I don't think we did yet. No, we did not. All right, well, this will happen. There it goes. Sometimes if you're on a paid gateway, it has to go all the way through. So nice trade there, 50 cents in the money for Apple, making it back on AAPL.
Yeah, Apple, I mean, it's still relatively weak. Remember, as Sean pointed out, well, I think you did, it's actually down since the open. Relatively weak, lower highs, and not looking very good. I haven't reloaded IBIT for the exact same reason. Well, not the exact same reason, but it is lower highs while being up into a market which is at the top. Like you are now, like you've been trending up the whole way, but since you've made higher highs, higher lows on this NASDAQ, ES, same thing, I said lower highs over into IBIT. Looks like Hood was a short. I didn't want to do it, but it's starting to pull back a little bit heavily here off that trend break. Robinhood was up 10%. I think VWAP's going to make a heck of a lot of sense. If it can show anything like the pullback that we had into 10 o'clock, or that's like 10, whatever, like 10:10, whatever that was, I want to see that kind of a pullback in. IBIT, still waiting for it. I think we can afford to be patient. It is 11 o'clock at this time. I do like the VWAP reload, but it's not showing me enough of a curl here yet to go into the long. And as mentioned, the only thing that we are short, well, I'm short, is Intel. I'm bidding here 45. Sorry, check that. Now I'm on 44. I'm in the mid 30s and then in front of 30, which is just the range that is established here on Intel. So yeah, continually weak on that bad boy. Ron Williams likes Microsoft long. It's been a while since we said we like Microsoft long, but it hasn't been too long since you guys saw the Bash Brothers, and we're happy to send you to Learn to Trade. We'll be back at 2 o'clock, and we'll leave you in good hands with the professor with Joey Options
Get some options.
Let's go. And apparently Randy as well.
Figure out your options.
What's up,
That was
Randy?
Joey, options. They're talking about the Cybertruck. Let's see it soon.
Oh, it makes sense. Yeah.
Where's the music? What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade During the Midday. That is your boy, Joey Dang Options. And I'm Sharif. And we're going to wait for everyone to come on over from the other stream. I was just talking to Randy off camera about the Cybertruck shenanigans on the weekend. It was good times. I got more to say about that. Juan Padilla, what up, baby? Day Trader Cut and Black Hawk JP. How about Jacques and you, the Piper? the SAR. We got Gladys G, Evan, Random, Frank Hong, Big Saws. Okay, I see you there. Tiger, the Cosmic, Dan Cat, and CompuCare team. What up, my man? It's been a minute since I've seen you. Ron John. How about Gareth and Cass Northwestern Canopy Development? That is a mouthful right there. Papa Bear and Mr. Ian. How about Vern Brenrex? Yes, my man Brenrex. Remember you from Thursday, baby. We got Chucky, Day Trader Cut, Jimmy, Joe Smith, and Los Polos Hermanos with Daryl Finch and Mary. Bold. I'm not going to say that last part because I'm not allowed, but bold. We got Lo-Fi Soul. Yeah, I'll tell you after. Ezekiel. We got It's Moko. Hello, Moto. Lo-Fi Soul, All Tank Friends, Franz S. Stevenson, ATN, The Ultimate Fashion Joseph, and Kobe the Dang Kid, Blue Arrow, Trejo, Mitchell, Andrew, Pitchbull, 2 New York cents, and one more. Bitcoin Trader TV. Everything I like, all in one name right there. Shout out to you.
Insanity.
Hope everybody had a fantastic weekend. Mine started off a little bit rocky, but things did progress as the weekend went on. Joseph, good morning.
Good to hear that, brother. Yeah, I mean, good morning here, guys. Fantastic look here in the market. Yeah, and this is where we want to see some relative strength stepping in. You can see that we gapped up in multiple names here, guys. So that's a positive sign here. Bitcoin trading pretty well. Unfortunately, I didn't trade it too well. We'll pull up my screen here and see what we got going on here, guys. Yeah, so we entered here off the jump. Small size, but then this is when we really started to push some size here, guys, and then I got stopped out multiple times there, and then sure enough, it just goes in your favor. So check out my post there on X. This is trade 1, trade 2, and trade 3. But yeah, thesis was right. We seen that we were gapping up here. I know we got a lesson strafe. We'll talk a little bit more about what else we're cooking. We had trading today. We traded some NVDA, and they're kind of the same story here with iBit. So unfortunately, not the best trading. I went to bed early. I'm like, hey, I'm ready. I'm coming in to perform as I usually do, but then I woke up at 4 a.m., Sharif, and I couldn't fall back asleep.
Hate that, dude.
Yeah, and I'm like, man. So I'm like, so sleep is really key.
Sorry, bro.
Hey, it is what it is, brother. There's going to be another day. We've been putting on some nice trades as of late. Was looking forward to hitting this one nice and heavy. This was a home run swing. This is what I was doing. I was looking to hit it out the park here on that one. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. We struck out, but that's okay.
Were you looking at the market last night?
On Blue Ocean?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, you didn't look at the future?
No.
I thought you were getting all amped up because we gapped up yesterday. I was like, this guy's amped up for the morning.
No, I'm like, oh, okay, Bitcoin was at 97,000. So I'm like, okay, I know the market's, 87, sorry.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I think the market's going to be strong if Bitcoin's rallying.
That's exactly what I thought. Literally, when Bitcoin was breaking, I'm like, we're going to gap up on the futures at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, exactly. And then I'm like, all right, yeah, I'm ready to rock and roll this morning. Wake up at 4 a.m. and then sure enough, here we are.
You got 4 more days, baby.
Exactly, yeah.
I see you, John Van Saunders, the most polite individual in the chat. Shout out to John. You're more than welcome, John, as always. So let's get right to the lesson du jour. We're finishing up our conversation on the gap and go strategy. Today, we're going to specifically talk about the multi-signal approach to the gap and go strategy. So as we know, the gap and go strategy is a popular way to capitalize on strong price movements in intraday trading, but relying solely on gaps alone is a little risky. So this lesson explores how to navigate and integrate technical indicators with the gap and go strategy for a more comprehensive and all-around approach. Let's get right down to it. So beyond the gap, while gaps offer valuable insights, they can be misleading at times. Technical indicators provide additional data points to help confirm the validity of the gap and go opportunity, and here's how to combine them. Step 1, you want to identify that gap. Just kind of reiterate what a gap is. If we closed out at $200 on Friday and we're opening up today at 9:30 at 205, that is a $5 gap. The gap is calculated by looking at the previous day's closing print and comparing that to the subsequent day's opening print. The variance, if any, is the gap. Number 2, you want to select your indicators. So as usual, you want to identify the gaps. Start by finding stocks with significant gaps up or down. I'm talking about 5% plus at the open, accompanied with high volume. That is step number 1. You're looking for gappers, 5% plus, accompanied by high volume, ideally with a catalyst, so you can kind of know that the breakout is supported by a reason and not just because somebody's pumping it. Number 2, you want to select your indicators. So you want to choose technical indicators, hopefully not hopefully you're already very well aware of them. You want to choose technical indicators that complement the gap and go strategy. Here are some popular ones. Trend indicators like your moving averages, your RSIs. These can confirm the overall trend direction, whether upward bullish gaps or downward bearish gaps. So you're looking, number 1, for your indicators, trend indicators, moving averages, RSI, etc. Then you're looking for some momentum indicators, okay? The moving average convergence divergence, MACD, as we've talked about. The stochastic oscillator as well could help gauge strength of the trend behind the gap. Or your regular indicators like support and resistance indicators. I'm talking about Bollinger Band, pivot points. Joseph likes pivots. He talks about them at times. These can help identify entry and exit points based on historical price levels. So that is what we're looking at right there. So that is your gaps. And the benefits of combining these indicators. So you obviously try to reduce the false signals. False signals are an ever-present danger in trading. So technical indicators can help filter out misleading gaps and identify stronger trend continuations. In addition, the confirmation of the trend strength. Indicators can highlight the momentum behind the gap, giving you more confidence before entering that trade. And lastly, improved entry and exit points, especially with things like pivots. They tend to kind of foreshadow what the support and resistance levels might be. They're not foolproof by any means, but they definitely give you another tool or another arrow in your quiver, so to speak. So technical analysis can suggest potential entry and exit points based on support and resistance levels or overbought and oversold conditions, MACD, RSI, etc. Some considerations you need to keep in mind, though. Indicator selection. Choose indicators that suit your trading style and risk tolerance. There is certainly no one-size-fits-all approach. And indicator overload. Has anybody seen Obi's charts? Right? Don't rely on, I'm using him as a joke example here, but he obviously is an excellent trader. I don't want to make that point. But Obi has a lot of indicators on his charts. He has a lot of lines on his charts. So don't rely on too many. Focus on a few that complement your gap and go strategy. And confirmation is never a guarantee by any means, even with support and resistance indicators on your charts and being used well. Gaps and trends can certainly reverse on a whim. So always manage risk with stop loss orders. And some context here, consider using different types of gaps. Like we've talked about this in the past, not recently, but there are different types of gaps that you really need to know about. There's common gaps, continuation gaps, exhaustion, runaway, breakaway gaps. And so depending on what type of gap you think you see, it might require a more nuanced approach to the trade, okay? So keep that in mind. All right. And the takeaway, combining technical indicators with the gap and go strategy certainly helps make this a more viable setup and gives you more tools in your tool chest in order to do what you do. I hope everybody prints up that storm. Joseph, what do you got?
Hey, good look there, my friend. Yeah, we'll send it off to Adair, then we'll come back here.
Oh, my bad.
No, that's all right.
You just keep an eye here in AAPL getting a nice push to the upside. Apparently, China's Commerce Minister had a meeting with Apple CEO Tim Cook. After this meeting said that China is willing to work with the U.S. through equal dialogue to foster a more stable policy environment for businesses, further saying that China actually will be welcoming more investment from Apple. So AAPL getting a bit of a pop here, as you can see with this little leg to the upside, as China's Commerce Minister says that they're going to be welcoming more investment from the company. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Dara. Yeah, guys, so who asked me in the chat? Nishan asked me to take a look at the options chain. So what I see on the call side here at 120, we have a lot of OI. We're already, what are we sitting at right now? Yeah, around that level, 121. So we're north of that. Be wary of that. We might pull back a little bit. But there is a hefty ladder through 122 all the way to roughly 128. So a slight imbalance on the call side for open interest. I don't necessarily, I'm not going to lead you in the wrong way. I don't know how to interpret that necessarily, but I'll figure it out here because at 122, we got 34,000, 123, 48,000, 52,000, which is significantly larger than what we have to the downside on NVDA. So hopefully we can run through those levels, but there is a lot of resistance. Speaking of NVDA, we're in some IBIT right now. You can see that we have to break through this trend line, and then I'm gonna add, but I mentioned earlier before, guys, I was pushing really heavy here, and it's really unfortunate because that would have been out the park home run there. So we were pushing size, and unfortunately didn't work out. So over 3 there, and then over 4 on IBIT, which is slightly embarrassing, but that's okay. That's what we're here for. But yeah, same thing here on NVDA, guys. Same thing kind of played out. I entered once. I'm like, okay, this name usually has multiple fake outs. Let me be a little bit more patient on that front. And then I'm like, okay, yeah, nice liquidity grab. And then we head back to view up. I'm like, okay, let me add in heavy into this. And then we just weren't moving with the overall market. And I'm like, what is going on here, right? But then eventually it just pulled back. And I'm like, all right, let me get out of this trade. I'll take whatever little cash it gives me and then get right back into it. But then sure enough, later, it continued to trade higher. So that's okay. That would have been, we would have been grand slamming today at that point, Sharif, if we held on to both of these trades. But that's what if history. And we don't play that around here. We play it how it is, and I dropped the ball in a little bit of paper hands, so that's okay, because you know what, we still got a lot of day left. We got risk left on the table. That's the key thing about being a risk manager, so we can still put on some nice trades. Gonna be patient because I'm still confident. You're still muted there, brother, I believe it. Yeah, we're still confident within the setup, but NVDA ripping higher is a really, really good sign. Let's see if we can break through 122, but I mentioned, Nishan, that there is a hefty ladder on the options chain in order for us to get through some of those levels as the market starts to pull in here. So we'll be patient, wait for that opportunity to arise. I want to add into IBIT, and if we have the chance, then we'll do so.
All right, I got a knack for knack. No, I had to, bro. I mean,
Hey.
yeah, Dara, there's going to be more of that too because Caps is there, Dara. So you know how it's going to be today. Here's what we're looking at, baby. Caps has given up the ghost. It broke down below 350. So this one's on my S list. You know what that is? Below that $3.50 area, it has to be above the volume weighted average price. I'll have no truck with this one. KDLY, this one looking awfully good. Range per candle is wide, so make sure you account for that based on your stop placement, position size, and beak wetting placement. KDLY above the volume weighted average price just printed that big boy high, day 253. Okay. NAK, that's the one I weaseled into. It's a VWAP hold. It's going to be a tight VWAP hold. I will not be giving this one any opportunities below that level. I will not be dollar cost averaging. It's either going to hold this area or I'm going to take the L. The stop is below 10. Ionic, IONQ, not a small cap gapper, but it just printed high day, so it's got my respect. 25.74 HOD. It's respecting the hell out of the 10 exponential moving average. A pull into that 25.25 gets me in. Currently, that could change because the 10 exponential, which is what I'm basing that 25.25 entry on, is a dynamic level. So if it moves up, I'm going to move up with it. But this is all the hype right now. This one's got everybody's attention. It's a 212% winner. It's moving up into the dang high of the day. I'm talking about MLGO, Joseph. This is a rocket ship right now. Bang. Closed out Friday at 250. We're at $8, give or take a couple of pennies. So needless to say, this one's got everybody's attention at the moment. How we trade it, though, will make all the difference in the world. It is getting extended away from that 10 exponential moving average on the 5, which I use as an informal gauge of overbought, oversold conditions. I'd like a pull in or pull back, into that $7.675. We'll see what we get there. MLGO, great look. Now, IMTE is breaking down. It's still up 100%, 99.8, but it's below the pre-market high. It is below VWAP. This one is losing it in a hurry, okay? So this one is not tradable for me until it gets above that 1 2/3, because that is the pre-market high. So we'll go ahead and we'll throw the alert there for that $1.50. At least we have like a 15-penny warning about when this one is approaching, if it approaches that 1 2/3. In case you're wondering why I don't want to trade this below $1.65, that's because that $1.65 is a pre-market high, and I won't trade these small cap gappers if they're not above the pre-market high. LUNR, again, not a small cap gapper, but a respectable trend. It's having a whole bunch of trouble with 8 3/4, despite the fact that the high of the day goes into 881. It's generally, underline that, generally respecting the 10 exponential, but not putting in higher highs with any vigor. It's holding support, but not really making that higher high with a new high a day. We're going to keep an eye on LUNR. And then last but not least, one that's been on my crap list for many, many months now, ever since I lost a little bit of money on it on a swing, MARA. Great looking bull flag to start the day, Joseph. That 930 pop, we consolidate, we hold the levels, we pop again, we're bull flagging again with $14 as the high of the day. So I perceive 2 bull flag setups on Mara. Do we get a third? I wouldn't mind giving this one a try intraday, Joseph. I wouldn't mind picking it up, 13 4/5, 13 3/4, with essentially the low end of this bull flag range as my out. So if it gives up the ghost at like 1370, that's the end of the trade, and we get the hell out of there. So that's my look right now. IONQ is the best looking one right now, looking to go into that high a day, but MLGO will have my attention. Now, currently, the one that I'm involved in is this NAK one, as I mentioned. This is the bad side about NAK is the lower high situation. It's got consecutively lower highs ever since taking that $1.28 high a day. And what I'm waiting for here is a pop-off VWAP. That's it. That's this whole setup is based on that. A pull in the VWAP, and then a possible move back up. Let's see what everyone's saying about BBAI, because I kind of see that in the chat. Okay, I see why you guys are yelling about BBAI. It's breaking out. So let's look at Big Bear AI here, one of the ones that the Katina man had for a swing. I'm pretty sure he did well on that. Wow, that's a hell of a rounded bottom there, bro. Ever since that breakdown back on the 18th, we kind of flatten out there, 293, and now we're back up in the good books today, 350. So Big Bear, not the biggest percentage winner on the day. You can see that only 14 2/3, but we already have IMTE and the like breaking down. So I can certainly remove that one for and put in Big Bear instead of those, because that's a good look right now. What do you got, Joseph?
Yeah, good look there, brother. I just feel like swinging the bat today, my guy. So we hopped into some more IBIT. Let me take these off here. It kind of bothered me. I have my eyes twitching. But here we go. We're starting to get the ball rolling. We had to crack through this trend line. I waited for this pullback to add into the position, and then I just quadrupled it just because that's just how your boy feels today. So let's see if we can climb and go and test this high day. I believe that IBIT and the overall market is relatively strong, so we want to stick with the strength. And let's see if we can kind of recover from some of that FOMO that we missed out on earlier today. So that's not too horrible of a look there. Guys, climb a little bit higher. I think this pivot is going to be real key, so we'll look to take a little bit more off there. A nice try there, Gaurav. I was looking at the same thing. There's a little bit of selling pressure, and I would have liked to see it hover just below VWAP a little bit more and then print that hammer candle. But I like what you're thinking, especially on that pullback. We still can recover here. Wait for a couple more indecision prints, and then maybe we'll start to see that continuation in strength. But so we're gonna stick with this thesis, slowly climbing higher up here in IBIT. Let's see, I still have about 95% of the position left. So that's not too bad. We'll take it, Sharif. So there we go. Holding off. If we can crack through the high day, I believe we can really get the ball rolling here, guys. It's nothing for Bitcoin to put in those 7 or 10K days. So let's see if we can get that up. We're up about 5% on the day. And like Sharif said, I'm like, okay, that's a positive sign here for the market. If we see that Bitcoin is around 87,000, when I looked at my phone, and for some reason I'm like, I just wanted to look, and I'm like, I feel like that Bitcoin's going to be trading higher here. And it's putting in a pretty good day here today, guys. Up 5 1/5. So positive sign. We're running into some key levels. We'll trim a little bit more up here. just because, but nothing too crazy. We want to hold the majority of this position for the dream here, which is going to be putting us up around $50.50, and then look for the crack of that. Speaking of Camarilla pivots, Sharif was talking about pivots.
Good call.
And I'm going to refer to my Amazon thesis and my hood thesis a little bit more. I'm not going to touch on it too much right now, but from a monthly standpoint, it explains why I decided to put on the trade. Yeah, I can hear you. It kind of explains why I wanted to put on the trade. And then IBIT for all my cam traders, you would notice that in the morning we gapped up and we were outside of the cam range. So that's kind of just blue sky territory in reference to kind of the Camarilla pivot structure. And then where we opened up on some of these big names today, right above R4. So we'll go over the cam lesson maybe later on in the week or next week. But when you trade into a bounce level, here we go. I draw this quite often. I'll pull out my trusty tool here, guys. We're climbing higher. So we're going to call this R4 right here. And then when we trade into it, so we've opened up on top and we trade into it, you look for a bounce and a rebound of those key pivots. And that's what happened in the overall market and some of the big names this morning as well, too. So that's why I had more conviction that we were going to continue this trend, especially because we gapped up here earlier in the mornings. There we go. Going to take a little bit more off there, guys. Hopefully I didn't take too much off. Yes, I did. No.
What happened?
Okay, that's all right. Yeah, I took off more than what I wanted to, but that's okay. But we're starting to climb higher. Positive sign. I do believe we're going to crack the high a day. I only wanted to take off about 5%. I ended up taking off 15%, but it is what it is. We're climbing higher. Good look here. But anyways, back to this Camarilla pivot kind of short-term lesson is that when you run into a R4, when you open up above R4, you're looking for the bounce and then the continuation within the trend. And that's what we got here today. So that's something that I look over every morning and I just build theses based off of those. And that's where my Amazon thesis came off of. I'll show you guys after I give it back to Sharif what I was looking at here on S4 and in some of the bigger names here. That's why I decided to grab some hood and then swing some Amazon calls as well too, Sharif.
All right, quick scalp here on MLGO on this micro pullback. If you watch other small cap gapper traders, you probably know what micro pullback is. We'll do an entire lesson on that. I think it's warranted, but coming up soon. Anyway, pull back into 707, got in 707 for the 7 defend, and basically trying to front run the the 10 exponential moving average, and then we had a good print there into 742. So quick scalp on MLGO up 184%. I don't want to say this the best trade is behind this one because I don't think that's accurate. This is the deepest retracement it's had on the day, a 3-candle pullback with kind of preceded by a topping tail. I'd like to see how it acts at that 675. That is when it actually touches the 10 exponential. Does it hold up there? Are there buyers with resting orders at the 10 exponential, or is it just another line on my chart that means bupkis? We're going to find out awfully soon. It's going to lose 7 right now. If it loses 7 and it loses a 10 exponential, the area I have to look next is honestly $50.50. I'm going to be looking at 6, obviously, because that is a whole dollar level, and it could act as psychological support. But the volume weighted average price is at $5.50. So I'm going to be looking around there, and it looks like it is zigging and zagging with 7, kind of a double bottom into that high 6s for now. We'll see how this cookie crumbles. We're doing really well, though, on NAK. Appreciate you, Joseph. This one did hold onto the volume weighted average price. Beak wet. 16s, beak wet 18s. Now I'm weighing at 20s. Because this is a bit of a cheaper one, we took more shares on this one, so we'll see if this one wants to pop up and give me the old print there. We're going to wait at 19s as well, because I just remembered I had shares on this one. So we'll see exactly what we get, and we won't get upset there. Shout out to Neil. So the good look right now on NAK, but I hear you guys yelling about KDLY and absolutely have the right to yell about that. What a breakout there. It had a clear area of resistance. You could see that mid to low 240s, right? We kind of spiked up there initially at 10.15, dropped all the way down, lost 2, believe it or not, and then the buyer stepped in, putting in the higher lows. That's your key right there. When you have that big boy drop off a topping tail candle, but the subsequent price action puts in higher lows. You can kind of feel the buyers are still in control, even though the sellers had their moment in the sun right there by pushing it below 2, even though it was super brief. So anyway, KDLY, seem to have a bit of a top there at around, let's just say 2.25 to 240. The closing prints are around 2.25. The topping tail took us into that 245. But then all the volume came in. The volume's increasing, guys, on KDLY. I want to show that very clearly here on the black charts. This is unusual for a small cap gapper to have increasing volume into the midday. Look at this. I mean, the 1015 print was the biggest print on the day until these bad boys started coming in from 1055 onwards. So KDLY very much in view right now. We'll see if this one wants to continue to run up, possibly give us a bit of a better entry. I'm going to put a resting profit or a resting entry at around 230 to 235 to account for what I perceive to be previous area resistance. So we're going to give that one the old college try. Allow me a second. Just kind of screwed up my computer setup there. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. What a day it's been today. Right. Yeah, here we go. So KDLY, oh wow, it just went back into the high of the day there. All right, I'm gonna put my order out there. We're gonna put half the order at 50. So we're gonna go 251 for half the order. And then I'm gonna put the other half of the order at 230. So we'll front run that 225 size. We're gonna give this one a try. We'll see how it acts, how it behaves, and whether or not we can get any prints on this one. So yeah, that's all I'm involved in right now. NAK, definitely trying to get into BB or KDLY here, but this one might leave without. Yeah, so maybe something in the low 60s. I think my first entry is going to be in the low 60s over here. So let's go ahead and wait. Yeah, 262. I'm going to wait there for a bit of a smaller pullback. This one will be the small entry, not the size of the one at 50 or the one at 30. So we'll see if we can get, because it's going to break the high of the day. So it's going to run without me. And this is normal. When they're breaking out like this with increasing volume, it's absolutely normal that they don't get a pullback. So it's just about me trying to find a micro pullback to get into. Anyway, 280. High day, that's no longer the case. It's 282 now. This thing is continuing to go quite aggressively. KDLY, be on the lookout for this one. I'm waiting in the low 60s for a dip, then the 50s, then possibly into the volume weighted average price. Still doing nothing on NAK after getting those initial prints. And now MLGO is losing the 10. So this is why I was concerned. Because I've seen this story before. When you have such an aggressive move up, the pullbacks are not as fleeting. They're a little bit longer lived, so to speak. So I'm going to be waiting at $6 for the first entry and then $5.50. $6 for the psychological support, $5.50 for the volume weighted average price. That's my story, Joseph.
Nice story. I like it, brother. I like it there. Yeah, here we go, guys. We're still holding on to this IBIT position. If we crack this trend line, then I'm going to get out of it. We did break it to the top side, but now we're starting to come back into my break even. So I'll hold this off. We're a little bit out. I took some majority off, so I don't want to make this winning trade too big of a losing one because the overall market is starting to pull back as well too. So we have to keep that in mind. And if we go to $50, I'll just have to get out of the trade, and that'll be it. I still had a little bit more than I was thinking that I had, but that's okay because I was holding it for the dream. And here we go. Yeah, I'm out of this here, guys. We'll look to get right back into it. Not horrible, but not necessarily something that I was looking at to gain here. So if we do rebound and go back towards the volume weighted average price and look like we want to go and test that high day, I think it's going to take some time. Las Pollos in the chat was asking me like, hey Joe, I'm looking for a pullback on the Qs. The thing is, at 11:30, I believe that we should have already came back and pulled back and maybe tested it. So we might have to be a little more patient along those lines. And then Marcus James Reed, I'm looking at TNXP right now, and it's just not liquid enough for me. You can see here on the 1 minute. So it's a tough look. I'll zoom out from a daily perspective to see what we got going on. It is biotech, which I also don't trade. And if I were to see this from a daily standpoint, I don't like it. I'm just going to be frank with you here, right? Again, if it's working out for you, that's all that matters. But just from a price action standpoint, I necessarily wouldn't be paying too much mind to this name here. But I'm glad that it's working out for you. And liquidity is going to be an issue as well, too, there on that front. So, yeah, that's the game plan here, guys. Okay, so, yeah, Gorev asked me to talk about some Camarilla pivots, as I was referring to earlier. The thing that I really like about them, they're objective, right? You lose that subjective matter where you place kind of the Fibonacci retracements on your chart. You have to put it at a specific pivot, and then with that, it becomes subjective. So with Camarilla pivots, they're preset, they're calculated off of previous days' highs, lows, closes, and pre-market levels as well too. I don't know the exact formula off by heart, but that's what they're calculated off of, and that's what I use to look. So I'll use another example here, guys. So I was referring to that R4 level. So now what we're going to refer to is this S4 level. So we're going to call R4 all the way up here and S4 all the way up here. And it's the same thing, essentially, right? So when you open up above that specific level, you're looking for the hold and then the rejection of it. And then that's what I essentially built my Amazon thesis off of at the base of it, because it had a lot of indecision prints on the daily chart that I was like, oh, okay. And you have more conviction and confluence within the setup if you're using these cam structures from a monthly standpoint. So you have an S4 level here, and you have bottoming signals on the price action prints that can just add a little bit more confidence within this setup. And then that's why I decided to grab options on that front. And I've been extremely more selective on some of my trades, because I want to have that accuracy, and I want to have the ability to push them as heavy as I possibly can, but getting slightly uncomfortable. I don't want to be comfortable, I want to be slightly uncomfortable. All right? Yeah. So here we go on IBIT. We got some off here, guys. We're waiting for this retest. If we can hold this level, you can see that we have this downtrend, and if price wants to slowly turn around, maybe we'll take another stab at it. We do have some indecision on the price action prints, which are extremely positive. I'll pull it up here. So a lot of indecision. And that's why I added. So you can see, guys, that I was in right here. We get that pullback, and then I add right around here because of this hammer candle there, Gora, Los Polios, and all my VPA traders. Then we add, and then we get it all the way up here. But then we ran into this resistance zone and then rejected it there. So yeah, keep that in mind. I thought we were going to go and test that high a day, but a nice indecision here. We'll look for this to hold. It is breaking through. So then I think the price is going to take a little bit longer to turn around. We are extremely extended off of VWAP here as well, too, guys, on a lot of the big names. So, I mean, Amazon's there, but the Q's and the SPY off of VWAP, and same with NVDA. So that was a really, really nice trade that worked out. It's more of a slow burner, guys, and I refer to this thing as a kind of like Apple. It trades like Apple. There's similarities just due to how large the float is and everything along those lines. So it was more of a slow grind, and you know, for my style, I'm more of a momentum guy. I have a time limit on when I should know the thesis should work, and if it doesn't, then I start second guessing myself. But there's nothing wrong with that. All right, I was heavy in size here. I got out of the trade. It would have pulled me back and stopped me out. So I collected a little bit, but then I missed the bulk of this move, which is slightly unfortunate, but that's okay. It's not the first time it's happened. It's definitely not the last time it's going to happen, Sharif. But we will most definitely catch some banger trades, because that's what we do. And we had a solid week last week, and we're going to look to continue that just kind of momentum, because we are rebounding. Amazon coming back below VWAP. Apple's been a hot mess today, Sharif, as the market is continuing to climb higher and higher. Apple is, as you would like to say, done bubkiss there. So yeah. So, but we got to Havana Woody. I seen your DMs. Gonna go over those, my guy, later on today. And then we got a $10 CMR. I'm not too familiar with what a CMR. Oh, that's your name. Sorry. So $10 super chat. Can AMD's short squeeze, or is there not enough float? Short float, I'm assuming you're referring to. I don't know if I have access to short float on AMD, but what we can do before we send it back to my guy is we can pull up the chain.
You want short float on AMD?
Yeah, can you find that for me? Yeah, all right. See, this is what you asked.
3.53.
3.5%. So yeah. I wouldn't necessarily call that short squeeze material, Sharif. I don't know how you feel about that on that front. But what we can do is we can obviously look at our options chain and see what we got going on from that front. I have not looked at AMD for a while, nor have I traded it. I told you guys a long time ago in the middle of the summer, I'm just not in sync with the stock, and then I essentially haven't looked back. So it is trading really well here, Sharif, up $93. But the thing is, this stock was dead for almost a year, and now it's starting to recover. That's a good sign, but that just shows you how long something can be out of play for, and AMD is a prime example. So what I'll do quickly is I'll go over some of the open interest here on the options chain to see what we got going on. What are we trading at? 113.40. 114, we don't see too much OI, but then when we run into 115, oh, okay, that's interesting. Okay, no, it's not. Never. Oh, that is very interesting. Okay. Yeah.
us what's interesting.
Yeah. So, the closest expiration I have on AMD, Sharif, is April 17th.
Interesting.
Yeah, right. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like, I'm trying to find the weeklies. So if anybody can find the weeklies on the options chain, that would be fantastic. But as for OI, 115 is all I see right now, guys, and I can't find anything from a weekly standpoint. But I'm going to get right back into IBIT here, Sharif.
All right, man. We're in 3 positions now.
Dang.
NAK, we're still holding on to that, waiting for a print to the high side here. VWAP is my trade on this one, but KDLY is the one we built the position into and off that topping tail. So I was able to pick up some at 250 there, but there is a seller of note in the low to mid 60s. I've been watching this while Joseph was giving us all that great information. I was able to watch the book a little bit closer here than I typically would, being able on the show, because obviously we've got to do other things. And there is a seller certainly worth of note. I so much so that I wasn't able to get anything at 65. It looks like the highest prints there went around to 63, 64 at the best. So my line in the sand here is the loss of VWAP. I do have a dip trade there to front run VWAP if it does dip into that level. The idea being, if my line in the sand is there, I might as well add some if I'm going to get out 2 pennies below that anyway in case it does bounce off that level. I'm keeping an eye on that. Let's let it cook. This one though, MGLO is starting to curl right back up to the high side over here. This could be a specialist breakout where they kind of just fool you to get back in. It had multiple bottoming tail candles into the 650 area. Let's see if this one wants to run. I do have my suspicions about this one, but we're going to give it a try. Why not? Where are we long? We're long at 16s or so. Let's go ahead and set up some beak wetters, and then I'll give this one to about 660 or so with the low end of that candle. Let's see if this one is able to print to the high side. There is a seller of note here at 20s, a big seller. We'll be able to see, we'll see shortly whether we're able to take them out or not. There is the seller at 20, and they are rejecting us for now. There we go. We take them out to the high side. Let's see if we're able to go above that $0.25 as well. There's a seller at the $0.25. There seems to be sellers everywhere over here. Seller at the $0.25, unable to take them out. Big seller, there it goes. And now we take them all out, baby. So we're going to take out some more profits up here. Back to this one, NAK. We're doing well on that one. Okay, we got the pop-up on KDLY as well. We're not in the woods, though. So we did get the pop-up to take out that seller in the low 60s, but looks like they're putting their position right back in because we're putting another negative candle there. Back to MLGO. Sorry, I have to manage all of these trades now. We'll look to take out some more in the high 30s. We're long 16s or so, showing me 26s. Let's see if we can get something around 38s, 28s now. Wow, they're selling at literally every level. Hidden orders, an iceberg got almost every 2 or 3 pennies. There we go to the high side again. Boom to the high side on MLGO. Can we take out 40s? We're waiting for 40s. 36 is selling right there. You can see it. It's not moving. Not moving. There's barely any size posted on the book. Can't move though, so we'll let that one cook and we'll see what we get there. How many more shares do we have on that? I don't want to be holding too much of this one while I'm trading otherwise. MLGO, yeah, okay, we got some shares over here that I don't want to hold, so we'll get rid of that one. And then, yeah, I had more shares there than I thought. No, yeah, okay. I don't know. What? Sorry? Sorry, Neil. I have to concentrate. My bad, bro. Can I jump in? Yeah, of course. Feel free.
Oh, we're not ready?
Okay.
My bad.
Neil's jumping in one hot second there, but we'll keep talking until he is ready. I'm going to get out of the MLGO trade because it does look like it wants to lose that bid. I want to just concentrate on this one over here because I have way more shares on KDLY. What's up, Neil?
Well, I was trying to say no and then no and then. But the other thing I wanted to say was an observation on one of the small caps and also to drop a pun. Because it's not often I have good puns, so I'm letting you know, I'm telegraphing it so that we can get the groans out of the way. I really do think Sharif has a knack for trading some of these small caps here. And speaking of this one in particular, can we come to my charts for a second?
Crazy.
No, and I was actually just saying in the chat there, I don't know how many times we're going to get this bounce off of VWAP in IBIT, here is bouncing off this level. Like NAC is giving you the same thing. Like some of the stuff that we talk about on the big cap tech or just trading in general, like you look at this small capper, 25 million shares, riding VWAP on the way up, holding it. You just have to maybe move the decimal point a little bit sometimes. Because how is this any different in a general sense? Breakout, pull back, and then scalp off of VWAP. It's exactly like IBIT, which I'm trading, is doing the exact same thing as NAC. And a lot of times, you know, you can take these patterns and it's like it's I don't want to say it's like fractal patterns are like on different time frames they work, but I think it's transferable is the best way to think about it. Like a lot of what you learn is transferable from one style to another. So I'm glad Sharif is all over these small cap runners. The other thing that's happening is, well, Intel's going to break low of the day and it's going to go red. That stock is a fail. And every day it's a short till it's not, and I will say that until it stops working, which will be the day that it rips my face off. Enjoy the rest of the midday, but just wanted to point that out. I pulled that chart up. I'm like, how is this exactly the same chart as IBIT right now, giving you the goods? Although somehow you managed to have it exactly at VWAP. Good entry.
I appreciate you. I appreciate that, Neil. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
All right, quickly over here. KDLY, we got that spike. We are getting higher lows, so I don't want to paper hand this trade. Each successive 5-minute candle, since the one that manifested at 11:30, so about 11 minutes worth of prints on the 5, is a little bit higher than its predecessor. I'm talking about KDLY. I've taken some prints out there in the 70s. We've got 53s on. I don't want to take out too much too quickly here. I perceive this one to be in control of the buyers. I can be wrong, okay? I've been wrong many times, but I perceive buyer control of the name as a result of the higher lows on the 5-minute chart. We'll see if that's accurate or whether I'm talking out of my rear end. So we're going to watch there to see what we get. I'm also involved in Mara, got the beak wet there. This is a much smaller trade, so I'm less inclined to really want to focus on it, and I hate Mara. So 1408 is what we're showing right now on the ask. I'm waiting at 11s. Let's see if we get a spike up on this name. As Neil was mentioning about NAK, we did get the pop-up. Thankfully, they're in 19s, but it is back down into 17s, and what I'm perceiving now on the 5-minute, on NAK are lower highs. That is not my look. That is not what I want, but I have a price that keeps me a bit comfortable. Long at 14s, the break at 12s, and it's all over after that for me. I won't be taking any more DCAs. MLGO, exactly why I got out. This is exactly why, because now we have a double top and a lower high. Hard to see. Look at it losing the bid right there. So I want to show this on the black charts. So you have your initial crest there. You know that that's the area high. You drop down. You get a couple of bottoming tail candles. They make you feel good, right? Buyers are stepping in. Then what do we get? We get that lower high. And if we get a lower low below that 675, that's kind of be your tell there. So you get the lower high and the lower low on the 5. That is not what I want on MLGO. I'm going to keep my eye out on this one, see if we can get anything set up a little bit better, possibly at 5.5 where the volume weighted average price is. But right now we need to focus on KDLY as it is coming a little too close to my liking for my entry. So we're long 53s, and I was just sitting there waxing poetic about how this one was putting in higher lows. It still is, but it's really close to my entry, and I don't know how I feel about it. I still have this order over here, which is no longer valid in my humble submission, so we're going to get rid of that and get out of that position there. Mara, okay, here we go. Showing me 9s now, but the order is the size at 9 on the ask at 9 is getting taken out. It was a lot larger last time I was looking at this one. We'll have to see if 10s can get taken out with the same vigor. Otherwise, we're going to get out of this one. Joseph, what do you got?
Yeah, good luck there, guys. We're starting to climb higher here in IBIT. I don't want to chase it, but I do like some potential bottoming signals here in Google, guys. Don't want to chase it either, so I'll wait for a retest of those specific levels, but you can see that indecision print here on GOOGL. But yeah, broke it to the top side here now, guys, so a really nice trade if you're playing the crack of that. but we're still climbing here in IBIT. So I'm waiting for a pullback to look if I can join in this strength here in this underlying asset. We are running into some resistance zones, so that's going to be a positive sign as well here too, guys. So yeah, I'm not going to chase anything right now, but we do have two potential setups that we are really eyeing and focusing on. So if we hold 50.05, then I think that we can continue to go here, but don't want to chase it up at these levels. Wait for those pullbacks, wait for the retest of those levels, and then we can join and continue in this strength here. So because I believe that I'm in sync with it somewhat, even though we were off on the earlier trades, it's fine. But the market is starting to pull in. NVDA looking like it wants to climb back towards the volume-weighted average price. The Qs and the SPY as well there too, guys. So just be aware what might happen. We might get into some pullback territory. But one thing to note, and it's positive sign here, guys, is that you can see on this pullback volume, it's starting to dwindle, right? So you can see the relative strength within us moving to the top side, northeast here. But then on each individual pullback, you're going to see that dwindling volume, and that's a positive sign, and that's what I have for our updated VPA lesson coming up tomorrow. So yeah, looking forward to that. Just some examples of actual charting and not just exactly diagrams or anything that I've drawn personally. So yeah, nice spot on what Google says, Gaurav. Yeah, we're going to wait here, my friend. I don't know how much we're going to climb. We're still positive on the session, up about 1.7%, so that's a good look there on that name. But yeah, just the climb here in IBIT slowly getting to me here, but that's okay. A nice trade. If we got in at 50s, then we would have been continuously climbing, pullback on lower volume, and then you just continue here in strength. So I'll wait for this to either reject, or if we want to sit on top of this range and that strength really steps in, then I think we'll be okay. But Google really starting to get the ball rolling here as well too, Gaurav. So good look there on Google. Like that signal. Now the risk profile isn't necessary for me, so we'll wait for a retest around 166.70, hold that level, and then we're going to go for that rebound because I do believe that the market is strong today, guys. If there's strong. You take my strong hand.
You ever watch Tyrone Biggums?
Yeah, of course.
Remember, he's that Joe Rogan's doing that Fear Factor in the Chappelle Show, and then Tyrone Biggums, well, he's all cracked out, so he doesn't really feel much in his legs, right? But he's he goes on the hot cold, he's like, my feet are strong.
Have you ever seen the scary movies?
No.
The one where they're in the haunted house. He's like, take my strong hand. Take my strong hand.
So good.
And they're like, no.
Oh man, I gotta rewatch those. Those are classic. Those are classic, dude.
Yeah, those are good stuff there.
I like how you know them though, because you didn't know Seinfeld. So
I don't know. I think Seinfeld's a little out of my date, though. You know what I mean?
It is.
Yeah.
Bro, Seinfeld was on, but it's kind of timeless though, no?
It's a cult classic.
Well, there you go, right?
So yeah.
I think you have to be a little bit more niche to Chappelle's Show. I don't think everybody was in Chappelle's Show. So no. I know it was in Comedy Central in the States. It was a Comedy Network here, but you had to have the right channel. It couldn't just be network television.
I don't even want to say. Just some of Chappelle's characters. I don't even want to say some of the names, but they're absolutely hilarious.
They're insane. There's too many, and they're not PG.
Yeah,
at all
whatsoever.
Some of the best ones that I can't even talk about them on the show.
Exactly.
Right?
You know the best ones that we're probably referring to the same guy.
Yes. Yeah. The dude who doesn't know who he is.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. The blind guy. The blind guy, right?
The blind guy. Anybody who watches Chappelle's Show knows exactly what Joseph and I are talking about.
But yeah.
No soup for Joe, yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
I think he cares, bro.
So, we're going to send it off to Adair here, guys.
Sir.
Bitcoin really climbing higher, so that would have been a nice one.
Nice.
Keep an eye here on Qualcomm and Broadcom. We do have China here. Of course, Qualcomm and their CEO, Cristiano Amon, was one of the companies at this China Development Forum. China reportedly telling Qualcomm that its big market has the potential to help the company grow. Broadcom dropping a little bit on this news. Of course, they are competitors in the same semiconductor space, while QCOM, here, of course, the company being told that China can help them grow, actually not doing too much. So AVGO actually more moving in antipathy on this catalyst than Qualcomm is here, guys. Back to you.
We're just dying back here, bro. Joseph, MLGO is absolutely on one. I was wrong about this one. I perceived us to be putting in lower highs, so I did punch back in at 727, and I was able to scalp to 760. But this looks like a really, really bad trade. Number one, because it is. Look at it go. 811 high a day. The rounded bottom was obvious, but I thought it was going to be a lower high. Okay, that's genuinely what I thought. That's why I punched out of it. I'm talking about MLGO in case you're wondering what rounded bottom I'm talking about. Let's show the black charts a little bit better or a little bit easier to see on this one. We dropped down off that double top at 8. To be fair, you get a couple of hammer candles, which we know are bullish signs, especially with the closing print of those hammer candles above the 10 exponential. So you know buyers were earmarking that 10 exponential as a possible support level. You got it, but you got it with bamboozlement because the wicks do break below that. But when we printed this candle here, and then I'm like, okay, well, this candle has a lower high than the previous candle. If we give up that, I was certain we were going to give up that lower low as well. I was wrong. And so once this one made the first candle to make a new high, I punched in, and it's still going 824 high a day. MLGO now is up 226%. This is the #1 gapper in the market. Shout out to Tisha Perkins. I know Tisha's been buying the dips on this. We're spending the money for Tisha. Excellent trade on this, especially where we were just about 10 minutes ago, 650 or $2 higher on an $8 name. That is a fantastic look right now on MLGO. So I don't have anything left on that one. We'll look to do a little bit better, possibly into 8. I took a print over here, though, on Mara at 11s. I'm long 14s. That's it? Oh, wow, okay. I only had a couple of outs there on Mara, so we kind of paper hand that trade. Got out of KDLY a long time ago, as I felt this one was going to lose the bid, and it did. It is below VWAP now on KDLY. The only thing that I could say positive currently about KDLY, aside from the fact that it's up 55%, is even though it's below VWAP, which is showing me 242, 241, look at this area. Previous area resistance over here at 2 1/3, 2 1/4. That's the initial bull flag. We drop down, we hold 2. We end up clearing that 2 1/3 like no problem. So despite the fact this is below VWAP, and I have a rule of not trading these below VWAP, and I won't. I want to show you though that there is support at 230. Given this was an area of previous resistance, let's see if it holds. It's got a double bottom right now at 230 on the 5-minute chart. Wick into 230, another wick into 230 there. We'll see what we get with this one. BBAI is not to be disrespected, though. I don't have anything on it, nor have I even tried to get in, but it's at the day's highs right now. And this is a beautiful looking bull flag, man. I mean, it looked like the volume really started to come in at 11. This looks like a buy program to me here, where for whatever reason, right at 11 o'clock, a buy program got turned on because it was quite directional and closing out at the highs of almost every candle, not really giving anything back on the 5-minute chart. But you could tell that buy program got turned off for a little bit now because the volume is declining and we're getting this kind of sideways consolidation, which looks like a bull flag. The range of this consolidation area, 338 to the low side, 345 to the high side on Big Bear AI. Good look. We'll keep tabs on this one. Joseph.
Yeah, good look there, my guy. Yeah, so nice rejection here on IBIT of that resistance level we were referring to earlier. But I decided to hop in some Google on this pullback. I'm starting really small here, guys. Just a little bit of a beak wetter, or I guess a starter position here on that front, because I got to give it to 1660. So that's when the thesis is invalid. So that's what I'm looking for. Just a nice continuous climb here. We do have those indecision prints. The market is strong, and I believe that Google is somewhat lagging, but a nice look. I do believe that we can continue to climb higher, and if we crack VWAP and some of this downtrend price action, then I'm going to add to the position for sure. But we're just starting off really, really small there, guys, just because I'll show you. I'll go over my IBIT trades here once again. So that one worked out. We entered at the break of VWAP here, waited for the pullback, and then we just like tripled the size and then went, but then we got stopped out the majority of it right here, but that's okay. But yeah, it's these ones, guys, that I was referring to. So we started, and then as we were working, I'm like, oh, okay, I want to play the crack of 48.50, and then we would have started taking some out, came back. But see, the thing is, one thing I want to know, and I was just talking to myself and just thinking, brainstorming in my head, and it's like, where did I go wrong? And I talk about this all the time here, guys, is that look where my stop is now, because that I'm adding into my risk profile. I need to raise my stop loss, but what it should be and where I'm actually wrong is at the break of this support level here. But just due to the fact that I was adding size, I had to lift it, and then that's why I got stopped out. So I'm not overly frustrated about it. Like I told you guys, this would have been a really, really nice trade here if it did work out, just due to how much I was trying to size in. But yeah, it didn't work out. it's part of the game. But here with Google starting to cook up here, Sharif.
Yes, sir.
I don't have the cooking animation, but here we go. Let's see if we can break through VWAP and then hold. You can see that we have this downtrend here as well, guys. So we need to crack through this in order for us to continue to climb higher. I know that's not necessarily the best one. You want to go from here to necessarily here. So yeah, going to be patient. The market is starting to recover. We're going to test the high day. We didn't get quite to VWAP here on this pullback, but you can see that the Qs are climbing higher once again. The SPY is climbing higher. One thing to take note, as I just do some TA and think out loud, you can see that this nice strong candle, but there's no effort here, all right? So that's one thing that we'll be going over in our VPA lesson as well too, is just the effort and result factor. So you can see that with a nice big strong candle that we have here, we have nice strong volume. This candle is relatively strong, but the volume isn't quite picking up right there. So that's where you can see the effort and then the result in that. So that can be like, hey, that's a little bit fugazi or falsifying, and we might pull back. That could be a signal that we're not ready to punch through that high day unless that volume starts to stair step higher, and then we break through those levels. And that's what you want to see, is that momentum and that volume really start to kick in when you go to crack through key resistance levels. All right, guys. So I'm going to add a little bit here to my Google position. Nothing crazy, but I'm looking for this crack, and then maybe we get this retest of 167.18, 67.20. We'll call it flat, because we do have a key support level. And I think that's where we're going to run into some possible resistance. And if we do so, we'll take some of the position off. And if we go mid-range, that's a bonus on the trade, Sharif.
See your friend Donald? He's gonna slap tariffs on Trump to impose 25% tariffs on countries that buy oil or gas from Venezuela.
Okay.
All the while increasing or extending, I should say, the license for Chevron to drill in Venezuela so that he can bring prices down for America. But if you're going to buy from them, well, then you're a bad boy.
You're bad, yeah.
Come on, Donald.
Come on, Donald.
Come on, bro.
Hit the Donald dance.
I was looking. The reason I'm even talking about that is because oil's up 1 1/3, man. We're almost back into that $70 area on the barrel. 69.17. We were down to like 65 something. But you wouldn't, you wouldn't really know that looking at gas anyway around here, because the gas price is still low. Wow, MLGO is breaking out, guys. This is a monster move right now on MLGO. This is up 269%. We just took out $9. We're at $9.35, the high of the day. I got out of this almost $2 ago. And that was like about 5 seconds ago. No, I'm kidding, of course, but it makes you feel awfully silly with these small cap gappers, because they can really get on one right now. And this one is on one. 948 now, high a day. It keeps printing a new high day, 272%. Great strength on MLGO. Be careful, because the bottom can drop off. This is a former runner. And the way to know it's a former runner is super easy. You just pull up the stock on the daily, and then just have a look at the daily. And then if you have these outsized days, just like this, like you're seeing over here, big spike up, down, spike up, down. And even these ones over here that look to be a little bit smaller because they're compared to these bigger ones, you can just tell this is a former runner. That's how it lives its life. 10, 15 pennies at a time, and it pops up, and then usually the next day it is down. So, and the reason I say that is because I heard the Katina men talking about RGC today. And I know that RGC was a single digit stock about maybe 2 weeks ago. It's like $50 today, down 20%. I know somebody in the chat had a monster winner on it. I think they were in at 5, and last week we were talking, they were at $50 or something. That is not most people's stories, sadly. Most people that will bag hold these small cap gappers will be made to pay. There's going to be ones like the individual from last week, and more happy for them I could not be, but that is not the statistical probability with these small cap gappers. So make sure you are trading them accordingly, and you're trading them using sound risk management. So super easy to know if something's a former runner. Just look on the daily and look for these outsized prints that seem to retrace quick as you like on the way back down. So MLGO, micro pullback right now, dipped into 9, but here we go again, back into the 9 1/3. Keep your eye when we have these micro pullbacks. One thing I really want to stress is when we're trying to push back up after that micro pullback, keep your eye for any new size that could have been posted on on a price level that wasn't previously there. So for example, say we were trading around 9.15 and we were zigging and zagging between 9.05 and 9.25. And I saw a seller with 250 lots at 9.25. Then we break through that 9.25 level. We go to 9.50. I want to see if that seller came back to that 9.25 level with similar or even bigger size this time. It seems to be the case when, they get pushed out one time, they'll try their hand again on the micro pullback to see if the stock is ready to come down. So keep your eye on the certain price levels that have a certain amount of size, larger than average wattage there on the level, to see if it comes back in once you've cleared it, but then dropped back below it. A little bit of advice there for the small cap gapper trading. Speaking of small cap gappers, Caps is basically giving up the ghost here. It lost VWAP, Joseph. It lost $3. This is local area lows. I mean, there was a consolidation area here at around $3, but that's since come and gone. It's dropping into that 279. I don't have my Unity, but I did hear Adara was ready for the lesson of the day. So we're going to weasel on over to her, and then I believe Neil does have his lesson.
Neil's got his lesson. Go.
Markets nicely to the upside, really, to summarize things here. S&P 500, great look, up about 1.75% near day's highs. NASDAQ, a little bit more removed here from day's highs than the S&P 500. A little bit hard to see in this chart. We had a bit of a double top on this 15-minute chart. That being said, still up about 1.9%. We did here have a little bit of tariff talk, initially pushing the market to the upside, and some reports that there's going to be some more measured tariffs here coming from Donald Trump with regards to the reciprocal tariffs on April 2nd. Then around 10:50, just about, I guess, an hour ago now, Donald Trump did post on Truth Social that he's going to be adding some tariffs here for Venezuela on April 2nd. So some tariff additions. We do also have, and these were not previously on the economic calendar as of this morning, we've got 2 speaking engagements from Donald Trump this afternoon. First at 2 p.m., Trump and the governor of Louisiana are going to be speaking together. Then Trump will be speaking at 3 p.m. at a Greek independence celebration. So 2 Donald Trump speeches. One name that is really not moving with the market, quite weaker actually, here is going to be Supermicro Computer, SMCI. I saw some people in the chat talking about this. I did not see a catalyst for this move, but it's worth noting we had a bit of a pullback in quite a few semiconductor names. Broadcom would be a really good example, and Broadcom looking almost identical to SMCI. Basically what happened here was the China Minister of Commerce here said that Qualcomm could really benefit from China with regards to its size of the market. So a lot of semiconductor names that were not Qualcomm dropped in response to this catalyst, but Qualcomm also dropped. With Supermicro, the relative weakness also might have something to do with the fact that they have about a decent shortfall, and they also got a downgrade this morning from Goldman Sachs, so SMCI relatively weak. Then we have some names here continuing strong. This is FTX, day 2 earnings play, pushing nicely to the upside near day's highs, and even some names that were weaker to start the session have recovered pretty nicely. Here's NFLX, nicely off of its lows here. So a lot of tickers here are pushing to the upside. Take note of ones that are not really moving with the market. Keep an eye here on this Fed speak. It's going to start around 1:45 with comments from Fed's Bostic, and then of course 2 comments from Donald Trump. But without further ado, we'll get some comments from Neil with his always engaging lesson of the day. Take it away, Neil.
Thank you very much, Adara. And the lesson of the day here is, sometimes the train leaves the station and it just gets out of hand. You would have seen this morning, if you watched the morning show, Tesla didn't really even try to fill in that gap. There was that crazy wick. There was a really only chance to get in if you weren't taking breakout, if you weren't taking that bottom wick for re-entry point. It just never felt like too much of a chase. There was Palantir was the other one that we liked, and spoiler, I did eventually get into Palantir, but missed the train early on that as well. So sometimes that'll happen to you, and all you can do is sort of back off, and everything's going crazy. You have to try not to get that FOMO, because the first thing I got into was a keystroke on SMCI for a loss. That ended up not being any good even when I got back in. It's like, oh man, the thing that we're shorting, we lose twice on it and it goes down. QBTS was a potential runner. It started to go, then it lost prior support. So you're 0 for 2. What are you going to do? And it's just about being patient. I showed you what happened on Palantir. We eventually got back into that and saw that one rally, but we had to wait till after 10 o'clock, which is fine. And then we waited around for IBIT to come into play. And this is the thing, it's easy to get FOMO earlier on in the day. missing out on big trades, or like the first thing you should take, yeah, reasonable loss, stop out at your level, took some profits. They're not big, but you can still get that FOMO and over trade without waiting for the right setups. But if you just waited for it, IBIT didn't break out until, again, after 10 o'clock, and then just starts giving us the VWAP trade over and over again, right off that 50 level. You don't have to look too far on a volatile day where there's a bunch of FOMO to look for other opportunities. Like on a day where nothing is going except for the one thing you were looking at, like if Tesla was the only thing moving today, oh my goodness, of course, it's going to be a little bit trickier. But on a day like today where the market's gapping up and there's so much to look at, when you miss on one or two, you shouldn't have to look too far left or right on your list to be able to find really high quality setups that fit your bill. And it wasn't just IBIT back and forth. I always saw Joe looking at this one as well. Didn't have to look too far to find relative strength and weakness when there was so much strength in the market. Well, weakness was going to stick out like a sore thumb. I know we sound like a broken record when it comes to this, but what was Intel telling us? And again, did not trade this one till well after 10 o'clock, missed the 10 o'clock entry, fail the high, fail VWAP, lower high, breaking lows while the market is strong. Now, we might get a chance to work back into this one off of VWAP again, but it comes down to do not stress out. If you are not in something or you don't have some crazy winner on a high volatility day in the first 5 or 10 minutes, that's fine. There's always going to be a play that you can make on the other end of it. Another example of finding relative weakness would be, I know Sean was shorting Apple, is look at Apple. If you were just not willing to chase the move to the upside, well, find something which is failing the highs. Apple, like Intel failed the high, and then after that showed you resistance right here at the 220.5, pre-market high, just over and over and over again. It just gives you that short trade for about $1 to $1.50. All it requires is for you to go back to your basics, not even rush it, because you could, again, had this trade at what time? 10 o'clock, and then it gives it to you again at 11. So this is what we're always trying to do as a trader. If you're in something, great, and the first idea that you have is going, and no problems. But if it's not, remember to go back to your first principles. What are the setups that you like that are still giving you entries? IBIT was a great example. Liked it long, didn't get the long we wanted. Join the trend where we could. Palantir, missed the first trade, join the trend where you can. Tesla, didn't get it anywhere. Okay, let's flip into something else that is setting up, like the Intel short, or maybe you try that Apple short. There are so many places that you can go on a day like today, especially after that first 15 minutes or 20 minutes might not go the way that you were planning it out. And the other thing that you can do here, and don't get me wrong, like I'm giving you all of the things that I pivoted to eventually make money instead of the Tesla long. You can also find yourself maybe looking for more aggressive entries into something like a Tesla if you wanted. Like I found myself unwilling to compromise on the long in Tesla, but there were spots like the 10 o'clock dip, like I keep referencing 10 o'clock, that opening range. The 10 o'clock dip showed you support, that's 266.5, then a higher low right back in here. So there was a long in the 67 range where you could have just said, you know what, if I can't get in at VWAP, maybe I can try to get in with a tight stop to that $0.50 and then long just above the dollar. That's an option as well. Because if there hadn't have been those other opportunities that presented themselves along more, let's say, playbook fashion, you can also just jump into the trend on the strongest thing with a bit of a tighter stop so you have a chance to participate in the party that has been Tesla. Long and short of it is, on days where like everything was gapping up, the percentages are high, when you miss those crazy, crazy runners, it's really easy to get that FOMO. And if you can't find yourself into them, you do have to show patience. Look for a normal setup that fits your bill, and if you get it, smash it. If you don't be afraid to back off. The other thing that you can do, and the second part of this is, well, when everything is running that way, find the relative weakness somewhere because you don't want to be stuck there. Well, the only thing I can do is short the tops if that's all there is. There should be something weak out there that you can find. Apple was an example. Intel was an example. And then go work shorts in those. Because if the market is super strong, I promise you there's something relatively weak if you don't want to buy tops. There's always something to do when the market goes or when a lot of things go rocket at the open and you miss that runaway freight train. What you don't have to do is completely abandon your risk to reward or your playbook setups just because you missed that early move. I'm sure lots of people missed Tesla today. Hopefully not too many, because I can tell you it's been an absolute beast. And even when it happens, there's always a trade to be had, as long as you're calm, as long as you're patient, and as long as you know what it is that you're looking for. That's your lesson of the day. And good luck, everybody. We'll see you at 2.
Wiser words were never spoken. Well, maybe they were. I have no idea. But that was quite wise in and of itself. Thank you very much, Neil Roberts. Every day around that noon hour, he drops Neilage. A play on words for knowledge. Neil's lesson of the day. Thank you very much, guys. As Neil was dropping the lesson of the day, this certainly didn't drop. I'm talking about MLGO, yet another high of the day, 979, now pulling back into that 9 1/3. This thing is on one, and by on one, I mean it's rocketing up. It's up 267%, was up a little bit higher at the highs. Let's see if it can breach that $10 area. Every time you think that this one is about to turn and kind of pull back into a moving average, into VWAP, which is now at $6, about $3.50 away from lower than where we're currently trading, it keeps making new highs. So, short this one, obviously, at your own risk, but trade it to the long side as well with certain caution, because we know what the story is like with these small cap gappers. Please, if you're a newer small cap gapper trader, be quite judicious with how you get in and how much size you're taking and where you're expecting these profits to come in. All right, I'm in a new trade right now. It goes by the ticker RAY, like Ray Charles, baby. So we're long Ray Charles over here, and actually so this is this one has a little bit of illiquidity because we should have got printed up at 73. It did cross 73, but we didn't get the print. That usually means, well, the bid and the ask probably had a wide spread at that level, or there was just no shares for me to get printed. There we go, back up into 73, and we don't get the print again. So it looks like we are not first in priority here, or even second. Let's see if we can get a move up. I'm waiting at 73s and 77s, and then we'll see if we can get back into that 91 high of the day. The reason I got in where I got in, that was a 10 exponential pullback after a topping tail candle into 191. Ray Charles is up 50.82%, and here are the details on it. $30 million market cap, 2.3 million shares trade on the day with a 3.1 million share float. Let's find out what the short float is, if any. Trade idea says Bupkis, 0.4%, so not much in the way of a short float here to help push things along, but it's got a smaller float in general, so that could usually help things out. So I'm keeping my eye here on Ray Charles. I am disappointed with NAK. It is now 1 penny below my out, anything below 12, and that's the end of the matter for me. We wet the beak a little bit up here, but I'm still holding the majority of the position, full disclosure. So we'll see what we get there, and we will not get upset. Did we get the print? Yes, we did get the print on Ray Charles. So now let me set up at 82. So number one, we need to get the 77 print before we're talking about the 82 print. But I do like the fact that it is holding up for the moment above that 10 exponential. It has a wide range per candle. That means, if you're charting on the 5, the range per candle of each 5-minute candle is a little wide relative to the price. So we'll see if we can get some continuity to the high side. As I tell you about that, let me remind you about this one. Here it comes again. We're about to hit 300% here on MLGO. 79 is the high of the day. We're showing 65s, 70s. Here we go. We're attempting another break of the high of the day. Let's see if we can see it in real time, see if there's size at that 79 penny level. We're showing 74s. So absolutely amazing strength and continuity on MLGO. Just when you thought this one was going to turn back around, it makes you rethink. And there it goes again, Joseph. Now it is no longer the high of the day, 79. It's 89s. We're working into that $10 area. This one is a rocket ship. ML Dang G-O.
Dang. Oh.
How's it going over there, Katina, man? I wasn't short, so. No. How was the swim? It was good? Katina man is back from the swim session. He's feeling good.
He's feeling
smelling
good.
chlorine. I like that.
Yeah, I love this good fresh good
it
smell
is.
of chlorine,
it's fresh
man.
smell.
It's his new fragrance. Yeah, it's the new fragrance.
It's his new cologne.
Yeah.
Post swim chlorine.
Yeah. Can I swim for a minute? Is what it's called.
Get it, Katina.
Yeah, guys. So I got a good question in the chat here from Lewis Edwards. Sorry, I'm just hyper-focusing on this Google trade. We took some off here, guys, but now we're starting to pull back, so I'm looking for this to hold. That volume really did step in here, so that's a positive sign as well, too, guys. But if we crack VWAP, then I have to get out of the trade break even, right? So that's just how it works. So Lewis, I was in the money, I'm assuming you're saying, with MLGO and got out at 5 thinking that was the max. If a stock keeps going up like this and you got out, what is your advice? Just accept the fact that you got out. You got out for a reason, and I think that's really, really key, is that when you are getting out of trades, just always ask yourself really quickly, am I going to accept the fact that I'm taking some of this percentage off? And am I going to accept the fact that if I get all out of the trade, it can continue to climb higher? It's just how it goes. I'll show you my examples on iBid here as well too. Took some out there, and I talked about it a lot today, but it's just I have to accept this fact, right? My thesis was super correct, but my timing wasn't necessarily there, and then moments later it worked out. So if I had the ability to hold on to these for a couple more seconds, then like I said, that would have been a really, really good trade for me, but I just have to accept the fact that it didn't, and then you just move on, and as Obi often says, what is the next trade, and look for that next trade. It's either you've made a little bit of money, or you've lost a little bit of money, possibly, right? So just stay level-headed, accept the fact that, hey, it moved on without you, and just look for that next opportunity because they will be there. And someone taught me this as well. So there's really only 4 outcomes. And if you have the ability to live with this, then I think you'll be okay. It's either you're going to break even, it's either you're going to win a little bit, you're going to win a lot, or you're going to lose a little bit, and you're going to lose a lot. So if you can accept that, and I remember John Jones said this to me when he was about to fight, I think it was Thiago Santos or somebody along those lines, or no, it might have been Rampage. He's like, I couldn't sleep. But one thing that he had to do was just accept the fact of the worst case scenario, and then you'll be able to live okay. And he's like, the worst case scenario against Rampage Jackson, is that I can get knocked out. And then that's it. If you can live with that fact, then you'll be okay. So yeah, that's just really my thought. Yeah. So if you can live with that fact of the worst case scenario, then you'll be okay. And that's just what you got to do with trading. It is a psychological game. Let's see if we can continue to climb. Do we add here, Sharif? I don't know.
What happened?
I'm slightly tempted to add a little bit here, but the thing is that we got to look that we're constructing these lower highs. But if the volume really steps in like it did right here, guys, then I think there's a chance that we crack through 167.15 and then continue to climb higher. And if we break this downtrend to the top side, I think I'm going to add a little bit of shares here to this position, Sharif.
Nimit, my man Nimit, back in the chat. Shout out to Singapore. Stop buying those NVIDIA chips and sending them to China, bro. I know it's you, Nimit. Ooh. All right, let's, no, I'm kidding, of course. Let's have a look at what was the ticker you wanted? IMTE, excuse me. I think I had this one up earlier. I did, yes. It's up 105%, which is respectable. But you know my rules, Nimit. And this one has a very early 4 a.m. or 4:05, is it 4:05 a.m., excuse me, print into that 165. That's a high of the day. In addition to that, if that was too lofty, or you're saying maybe that's 4 a.m. on low volume, look at this one. 7 a.m. print, high of day, 149. We didn't print above that in the opening bell range, and we're not above that now. So this one is on my crap list because it's trading below the volume weighted average price, and it is below the pre-market high. That pre-market high is 165. As you can see in a minute, I've got my alert at that $1.50. If this one gets above that $1.50, I'm all ears. But until that time, I will not trade the small cap gappers that had a definable pre-market high, you guessed it, in the pre-market, and then fail to take that pre-market high subsequent to the opening bell. It presents all sorts of trouble for the longs, not necessarily the shorts, for the longs. Typically, you have bag holders that are there in the pre-market at that elevated level that try to get the hell out of there, or the algos are using that to their advantage and they're shorting it to no end. And for whatever the reason is, my observations and my experiences with these small cap gappers is trading the ones that have a pre-market high that hasn't been breached subsequent to the bell is a recipe for disaster. It has bamboozled me several times. And I don't want to be bamboozled anymore. So that's a look there. Now, I'm involved in RAY, as I mentioned. This one is trying to hold the 10 exponential. The area where I'm looking for the print is 77s. It's weaseled up to 76 many times. Hasn't crossed, though, into that 77, so I'm waiting at 77s and then 82s. Let's see what comes of this one. RAY, it's about 52%. My only complaint about RAY is the lackluster volume, and that's exactly what it is right now. It's a dollar name. It's only done 2 2/3 million shares on the day. That's just not enough. So, hopefully we won't get into too much trouble. I have a very tight stop below my entry. Let's see if it can hold up above that price. Mara curling back off that 14.25. We took this bad boy long at 14 with the beak there into the 20 or the mid-teens. It's coming back a little bit now. Let's see what it does at 14 though. 14 was the top end of what I perceive to be the bull flag range. It's also the whole dollar. So let's see if it can come back into 14 and maybe give us something to buy at that time. But this one,